In the studio, Mr. Nick Pert.
Hello. That's not how you say my surname, but hello.
Pertius?
It's P-Art.
Oh, Piart.
P-Art. Yeah.
I know some people who are famous for that. Anyway, welcome to the Small Gamer. I'm your host, Rob. We're live in the studio on Thursday night, and it's an exciting time to be alive.
It is.
Well, that's what I think, because very excitingly, we're going to get to talk about Warhammer for the evening.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! So, hello everyone, welcome to the show. I hope you're well. I'm trying to get the Twitch chat up. It seems to have just vanished on me as we went live.
You're trying to get it up. Problems getting it up.
All day
Happens to all of us,
long.
Rob.
Hello everyone, and I hope you're well. Nick, how have you been? Talk to me.
Yeah, I've been good. I managed to play some Warhammer last weekend, so I'd had a little bit of a drought of 40k recently because I've been playing lots of more time and other things. But I played, since the new Marine Cadets came out, I hadn't had much of an opportunity to play with it. Lots of thought experiments in terms of math hammer in my head and how a list would work. But I got to test out a predominantly Dreadnought list, which was really fun. Yeah, so
The chat's just vanished.
they're vanished.
I just don't know. I don't know how to do things anymore. Apparently, I can learn some things, but I can't learn loads of things. That's what I've got for you. Anyway, cool. So you've been playing loads of Mordheim. Wait, is it good?
Mordheim is the perfect skirmish game.
It's the perfect skirmish game.
Hashtag no need for Warcry.
Why is there no need for Warcry?
Because they've all. It's like, you've achieved perfection already. Why you've made the wheel? Why reinvent the wheel? Okay. Is my thoughts.
Good. Those are my thoughts too. I've never played it. I would like to play it. There we go. I managed to be able to deal with that, and it's all sorted now, and I don't have the stress that I once did. Okay, good. Well, sweet. I've been doing nothing but reading the Space Marine books.
Oh, really? What do you think?
I really fucking dig them, man. Like, if that's how they do Space Marine books in the future, not Space Marine books, they do all
Just
the books.
books, yeah.
Yeah, if they do, I'm super hype if they do it for the Mechanicum. Yeah, and it makes loads of sense why they will. And also for the first time, it's nice to see them supporting the different chapters.
Yeah.
Finally,
not just like Ultramarines.
Fucking years, yeah, not just Ultramarines
and Blood Angels.
Yeah, so obviously you've got the other non-main lines. So you've got Blood Angels, Space Wolves, Dark Angels, and all those guys. Hi, Diadrin. I hope you're well. Hello to everyone on the Twitch chat, by the way, and thank you to everyone on Patreon and Twitch who supports and subscribes and supports the show. You guys are wonderful and appreciate you guys loads. Hi, Budtastic Guy. Hope you're well. And the Dreadwoods. I hope you're good. So yeah, I'm digging it. Obviously, it's a massive cash gouge. We talked about that last week, right?
Yeah.
Just fucking ripping money off me. That's all they want to do. But
do you want a small page of stratagems and some warlord traits?
What I do
Give
want,
me £20.
What I do want is the narrative before that. I want them to have to have done the fucking work. DeBolt, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate that loads. For 21 months. I fucking love you.
Yeah. DeBolt's very excited about the Dreadnought show.
DeBolt's very excited about Dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
He's a big fan of Dreadnoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know that they Dreadnought? Not the last time I made that joke tonight.
Dreadful.
Dreadful. Nice. Where was I?
So you want them to put loads of effort into the narrative?
No, yes, but then also there's room for such expansion as well. The idea that have I spelled Dreadnoughts wrong? Or maybe I have. Whatever. Don't even care.
Who really knows how to spell Dreadnoughts
exactly
properly?
Yeah. This is the 40k version. Anyway, because the White Scars one's super different. And then we're about to talk about the Iron Hands and Ravenguard ones that we've just seen today. And then I was even talking to my friend Darren earlier today. I was like, man, the new Marine book's cool. And when you're telling your friends, you're like, oh, this is quite cool. Yeah, some stuff's shit and some stuff's broke. But welcome to Games Workshop Games. That's how they do things. Yeah. And also all the new stuff is pretty good and all the old stuff's pretty shit. But that's going to be the Marine thing anyway.
Yeah.
But I would love a little book on each one of the Forge Worlds from Mechanicum. A little book on each of the... I don't mind paying 20 quid, or all of us have to pay 20 quid, to make them finally do the fucking work. Because once they've done it, they can't undo it. Does that make sense? then we've
But
got it forever.
what would they need to undo though?
Oh, Reflex Dog Training. Thanks for subscribing for 7 months for the great horn dog rat. Jet the dog. Still alive, by the way, everyone. Still alive.
Still kicking.
Still not for long. Not doing well.
Oh.
I know. But currently, Jet's alive. If we can get some Jet emojis in the chat, that'd be great. So, how do you feel about it?
I think.
And Twitch chat, how do you feel?
I would feel a little if I. Because I'm going to purchase the Iron Hands supplement because I've got the Marine Codex.
Really good.
Yeah, so I really like my Dreadnoughts.
Weren't you telling me that Iron Hands are actually your favourite?
I've always been an Iron Hands player. ever since the
preview
when
for the rules.
when I was small, like when I first bought my first box of Space Marines, I painted them red. Some people thought, oh, that's Blood Angels, but no, it was Iron Hands all the time. I've always.
Weird, because this
forever.
seems to have been the first conversation we've ever had about Iron Hands.
Online, on stream,
That's
off
true.
stream,
All those. Shut up about them. What's most interesting is the Iron Hands tattoo that you have.
Yeah.
That almost no one knows you have.
Just at the small of my back, above.
Which, with an arrow that points down that says, "This flesh is weak."
Iron Hands enter here.
My Iron Hands army is dark green, says Fantastic Guy.
Mine's bronze and red.
Yeah,
so.
mine's silver and black. Maybe Nikos is just colourblind, so he can't tell red from black and silver.
Yeah, don't discriminate.
Yeah.
just I'm chapter blind.
Oh, Ruskles, thanks for subscribing 9 months in a row. Thank you to everyone for subscribing and joining us for the show. You guys are wicked. Me and Nick were talking just before we went live about how awesome you guys are, and it's just wicked that we get to come and talk about our excitement about the game.
Yeah.
I haven't played any 40k this week because I've been super busy because I've got a live stream this weekend, a live stream next weekend, and we're trying to work out how to do some really, really clever shit. I want to say a big shout out if he's listening to Mr. Tom Wallace, who's a very, very clever man. Really cool. And hopefully next time we do some 40k coverage for Freelance Wargamer, which if you guys are out there and want us to do it, let us know. We're very excited to do that if it's a big enough event. We're going to bring some shit hot professionalism to it, which is really good.
Some innovation.
Well, yeah, because we this is the whole point of the show, right? We give fair and articulate reviews, that's what the Honest Wargamer is, and then the whole time the community supports us to develop.
Articulate might be stretching it a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, we say some words. We say some things. Hey, Sunnies. Protesting says chapter blind, lol. Put that in the workbook. Chapter blind. That's right. Yeah, I'm chapter blind. I love that all these bonus booklets are making people pay other chapters than Blue Man Castle. Agreed. I heard there are dreads, says Alan Droll. I came for the dreads, but I stayed for the sometimes jokes. So anyway, I haven't had time to play. And I've been in this ongoing war with myself at the moment about playing games versus doing work for the show. And I feel like playing games is part of doing the work, which is why I'm sometimes jealous of those bat rep guys. Just make a bat rep, play a game, put it out. It's cool. It is. I mean, it's fairly easy, right? I'm not saying anyone can do it, but literally anyone got a phone. So yeah, we've got some cool stuff coming, hopefully, and I've been looking forward to doing. I really want to go do some more 40k coverage because I really enjoyed Capital City Bloodbath, and I'm not sure if that's because I just fucking loved hanging out with all the people I was hanging out with, but I enjoyed the games as well, and also getting to watch some. I really loved the Gene Stealer Cult Army. So if you haven't watched that back on YouTube yet, go back and watch our coverage of the Capital City Bloodbath. But it's just fucking gangster, just like a bunch of lads with hammers just beating people up. Well, they didn't beat anyone up; they lost, but it's still very cool. Put me in the sarcophagus, coach, says Aladril. Denise, would you say you play and call it work? No, I would not. I don't play and call it work currently. Currently, I'm like, I want to play. Hi, Ruskles. Sod all this chat. Dreadnoughts. All right, fair enough. Nick, you got anything to add before we get on to Dreadnoughts?
Well, to finish my thought about the supplements.
Oh right, yeah.
I'll feel a little bit robbed if I pay like £20 for the Iron Hands one, and it's like a tiny little document. So,
have you not read the other ones yet?
No.
Okay, they're awesome. They're totally worth it. 20 quid? Are they worth 20 quid? Nah.
But for somebody who doesn't really read the narrative stuff,
then stop
I just look at the pictures.
Come on.
I just like looking at the pictures and the rules.
I mean, I think it's worth it. It fleshes it out a lot. And I think that maybe we all have to pay for them to do it, but as long as they fucking do it, like us,
My preference,
yeah.
if I had any say, would be you know those chocolate bars that used to. I don't know if they're still around. The no frills chocolate bars. So it's just like chocolate bar, plain white packaging with black words.
So that's how you want rules.
I want
Do you want them
a no
printed
frills
out
iron hands.
off a printer, like just that dry printer paper?
Just black. Just give me a black and white printout with or just a black and white PDF. Just
A
like
black
the
and white
basic,
PDF.
Just give me the most basic PDF with just the rules in. Maybe a picture
No artwork.
for $4.99, and I'll be happy.
I mean, they probably would save a lot of money, but I don't know what their markup is. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the average codex sale is. I don't reckon they sell more than like 1,000 copies of a codex, you know.
Not sure about I'm sure. I think in Russia, definitely they sell one.
In Russia, they do sell one.
And that's distributed to every other Russian.
But in Russia, Codex trains you.
Yeah.
See you later, fantastic guy. El Andrel says, for LVO 2017, 40k friendly, my list was 12 dreads and 6 drop pods. Ooh, Viking says, Osiren, Dread or Death. Symbol says, triple the price and you got the Forge World indexes. That's true. They play and call it content. Barf. Agreed. Right. So before we get on to dreads, because this is going to impact our conversation about Dreadnoughts, we are going to apologise about the Twittg Graphics. I'm not sure what's going on here. We've got a new studio set up, so that's what I've got to say on that. We've had some previews: the Sons of Korax and the Iron Father, basically Iron Hands and Raven Guard. We'll do Raven Guard first because it doesn't impact our Dreadnought conversation much. I mean, doesn't it? If you can be asked. Anyway, so there's loads of bump on the page. However, their doctrine is, while this tactical doctrine is active, when resolving an attack made by a model with this ability against a character unit, you can add 1 to hit rolls and wound rolls. So Raven Guards, they're like doctrine.
Doctrine, yeah.
Yeah, +1 to hit and wound rolls versus characters, which is just, Ruskles, thank you for the 500 bits donation. It's been 9 months, so here's the money for the baby. Baby, we're going to have a much bigger baby than that. And then what about Dorados now being tougher than Knights due to Iron Hands? Yeah, Skynet is taking over run. I don't know what's happening with the page. I'm sorry, guys. Twittg Graphics, Twitchy hosts. I'm not caffeine running, so this is all good. So that's huge. Thoughts on the Twitch chat, Nick? What are your thoughts?
I think it depends on the little characters. I don't think he's going to get much play on like little characters, like a spaceman captain inside of his death blob, or like the Kuros Aquila guard guy.
Yeah.
I think it would be way more seen on like big characters, like Mortarion or somebody who might be running at you, or maybe Imperial Knight, who's a character.
Yeah.
I think it'd be way harder to get to use that against characters who are hidden unless you got like some sort of sniper rule. Maybe that is a quite good combo with the Intercessor unit with the heavy Stalker bolt rifles, because they've got a 3 command point stratagem where they can target characters anyway.
Yeah.
So maybe that'd be quite a good combo with that, potentially.
For me, personally, I think the thing that comes out, do know this, is it's time to talk about Ironclads. Games Workshop's strongest unit in 40k. Pure Evil says it's great against Knights. That's the correct answer. So
yes.
All the Knights are character units, right? Most of the time. Does that spell the death of the Knight meta? If you guys are interested, you should go on to 40kstats.com and you should check out the stats that the gorgeous Falcon does there. And you'll see that 1 in 4 armies that you'll play, at least in an ITC event, but probably in most events realistically, is going to be a Knight-based army. With that said, most of them are characters. Nick, I know you run character-heavy Knight armies as well before.
Yeah, because you get lots of cool stuff with the characters, because if your Knight isn't a character, you can't heroically intervene into people. So If you get the opportunity, that's an extra round of combat that you're not getting otherwise.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
But I think +1 to hit and +1 to wound. +1 to hit is not a big deal for Space Marines, but it's nice to go 2s, rerolling 1s with a captain, or it's because it works on vehicles or Dreadnoughts as well. Hit on 2s, reroll 1s, but that +1 to wound is massive because you don't. Now I know that it means you won't necessarily get like the extra 1 AP for being in the wrong doctrine on like heavy weapons or other stuff. But for me, I just think that's the killer. That +1 to wound is huge. I mean, you already don't see much Mortarion and Magnus anyway.
Yeah.
I think you'll see them even less now because these things will just gank knights like they're going out of fashion, which is good because I want them to go out of fashion.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day because we're Team James Workshop are going to the next team event at Games Workshop again, and obviously we're thinking about the composition of the armies. Like, we took a knight army last time, but I feel like at the minute knights aren't as strong as they used to be because there's so much stuff that can kill knights now, and I think Marines can deal with knights pretty well. And knights have taken quite a lot of nerf-backed beatings recently with, like, particularly like all the Forge-World knights that used to have 4+ invulnerable saves that now don't. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I mean, that's some fair comment. Brian Sprillo really wants us to mention Centurion Raven Guard. We'll get to those in a minute. Alan George says it's not going to push knights out. Remember that the doctrine kicker is that the whole army has to be that chapter, which I think is a really good point. And it's, how many Raven Guard armies are there really going to be versus how many knights? But if you've got an army that's specifically good against the army that's 25% of the field, then normally you'll get a bump up. You might just get to play 2 knight armies in a row early doors, gets you straight into the late field, and knights generally tend to do quite well. So you might just have a run, which is nice. You're right. I mean, but the Marine book's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's pretty good. And there might be better there might be better doctrines from Ultramarines, or when we get to them, the Iron Hands. But at the same time, this has got a pretty good spec'd out piece of tech to use against the most common army you're going to face, I think, anyway. Also, Dulade, thanks for donating 100 bits. At +10, he said, who killed Tom? Nick, do you want to answer
that? Well, Tom wants you to think he's dead. He wants the public to think he's dead because he's trying to get inside Nick Nanavati's head. Because if news reaches Nick that Tom's dead, he's going to start to relax. He'll be like, I've got through my round 1 at the Invitational. But then Tom's just going to turn up like, haha, surprise. I'm not dead.
Yeah, he's currently doing an 80s montage. I can't find... Switch chat's just lost on my computer. Bloody interwebs.
Goddamn technology.
I don't know where it's gone. Like, it's side of the screen, it's just vanished. Fucking... I hate the internet. Anyway, he's gone.
He just wants you to think he's dead.
Yeah, he wants you to think he's dead when he's really not. He's alive and well and kicking it, and he's playing Nick Nanavati the weekend. He's already told himself he's lost.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure he's quite confident. I did hear that. I think the rumor that Tom died did start because he did one of those things where he got one of his friends to stop his heart for a few minutes so he could have some visions of the future or some divine inspiration from the beyond. But then he was restarted his heart and he's come back again.
Yeah.
So I think that's where those rumours came from.
That's where those rumours came from, yeah. It was seen in a vision, a dark vision. So Tom won't be on the show today because he is already in London prepping seriously for the potentially the matchup of the century because he's been cussing out North America for years. However, big upset. I'd like to say I'll tune in and watch the game, but I won't be able to because I'll be also heading myself down to London to do the coverage as well. Is it in London? It's going to be a shit show anyway. It's the LVO. It's going to be a bag of crap in it. Yeah. But the good coverage, Sigma, so I'll be fine. Also, by the way, obviously as we'll be live at the LVO, if it is a shit show, don't worry, we will let you know. We'll be doing some hot infield reporting. Yeah. Maybe we'll get Tom jumping over from 40k at some point to give us some spicy in-house memes. Yeah. Hi Nampertine, what do you think of the Grand Convocation plus Star Drake plus 400 spell spam Tempest Lord so you can spam CPs for Lord Arcana foot, C3 then spell over the table? Sounds great, bro. Sounds real good. Just talking 40k at the minute, but sounds great.
CP farming, I've heard that before.
That's CP farm. Yeah, we have it in Sigma now. There's this one item called the Aether Quartz Brooch, and it's fucking rubbish. LGT, not LVO. Oh, fuck. Is it called the LGT we're at? They're all shit. Anything begins with an L. Anyway, some other stuff that we've seen. There's a Warlord trait, which is enemy units cannot fire Overwatch at this Warlord. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Someone made a good point in the chat, by the way, as well. Don't be sorry, Namprotein. It's absolutely a good question. We'll do a Q&A sesh next week. How's that sound? You can bring it back for that. Enemy units cannot fire Overwatch. It's Warlord. It's fine. Someone in the chat earlier said, sorry, by the way, stop Smash Captains deciding they're just going to run in.
Yeah.
Yeah. +1 to hit, +1 to wound. I think it's good against Knights. I'm fucking chuffed with that. They can fuck off. Splendid. Right. And then Raven's Fury, jump pack model only, a model from your army with this relic. So this is showing off a relic. Can be chosen to charge with even if they advance this turn. When a charge roll is made for that model, you can re-roll the dice. In addition, after that model finishes a charge move, get ready because this is devastating. You can select one enemy unit within 1 inch of that model and roll a d6, and on a 4+, you take 1 mortal wound.
1 mortal wound.
I'm literally bored reading halfway through it. I wouldn't even roll it. Yeah, if I charge, I wouldn't even roll it. I'd just be like, no. It's not. But anyway, Raven's Fury, you can do that. However, we've looked at some. There's the psychic powers for Raven Guard. Shadow Step. This is a pretty cool one. Shadow Step has a warp charge value of 7. If manifested, select a Raven Guard character from the army within 18 inches of the Psyker, remove it, and you can basically redeploy him 9 inches away from the enemy.
Do you think Raven Guard versus Raven Guard is going to be an interesting game? Because I'm going to move my character there. I'm going to shoot your character because +1 to hit, +1 to wound against your character, and then I'm going to Shadow Step this guy, and this guy's going to run forward and charge you with my Smash Captain, and then so people throwing characters at each other, but then easily killing them.
I don't know what the guys in the chat are saying. Why is your proudest moment this? Because someone said Lob Symes. Lob Symes is shit. What does that mean? Fuck you guys. Yeah.
Lob Symes.
I don't know. Yeah, that would be really fun. Just a more shadow stepping each other. But then, why would you want to redeploy
a character on his own? Weird.
Whatever. However, there is a stratagem which uses stratagem when a Raven Guard unit from your army falls back, the unit can shoot and charge in this turn.
That's nice.
Yeah,
they're always sort of cool stratagems that catch people out because you're playing the games, someone charges in, and you go right. They're locked in combat. They're not going to be able to retreat and charge or do anything. So
the guys in the chat,
cool.
Hi Chapter Master Arik says Chaplain Dreadnought is a character. Just redeploy him. But still, why? I guess you want
because they've not got any bonus to charge or anything like that.
I suppose the bonus for movement is a good thing if you want to get him upfield.
Maybe it's just a defensive thing. Like shit, my chapter master or my warlord is in the shit, and they're going to get my warlord point. Maybe that's going to be the swinger that wins or loses the game. So you get your chapter master out of dodge.
Whatever. However, look at this. If you buy the book as the Shadow Wills, you get a little bit about all of the companies and some other random narrative. And I am going to fucking get it because I am chuffed as fuck about these. I think they're really cool. Really enjoyed reading the White Scars one. Really enjoyed it. Just fucking loved it. Paid for it myself. Fuck you all. Well, I didn't pay for it. My friend in Russia paid for it. But I really enjoyed it. Anyway, so what do you think overall about Raven Guard? Everyone in the Twitch chat and Nick, thoughts?
Their -1 to hit thing doesn't apply to vehicles, I don't think. Does it? I think that's just infantry.
No, so it applies. It does. It applies to infantry and cover. -1 to be hit applies to infantry.
So I think that was always the best thing about Raven Guard, the -1 to hit thing. And obviously, it only really affected infantry before, and that's still not changed.
Yeah.
The things that I've heard about them, I don't think it's not enough to make me not want to play my old favourite Iron Hands. Not quite enough to tempt me. I don't know. They don't seem like the strongest choice.
Yeah. Does it apply when fighting Imperial Forces we ignore cover? No, you don't get the -1 to hit if you're not in cover.
What's that? Sorry.
So if you're if you have a weapon that ignores cover, then that takes away their -1 to hit outside of 12 inches.
Okay.
And Sonny says the best thing about Raven Guard is the hairstyle. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Less said about Shrike, the better, I think. Anyway, next up, the Iron Hands. Your favourite chapter.
The chapter from my childhood.
Yeah, your favourite chapter. Anyway, so there's a fucking gangster new dude. That model, have you seen it?
Is he the tech moon with the mustache?
Yeah, and he's got a big heavy bolter and he's got the grabber from Toy Story.
Yeah.
The claw! Yeah, and a big axe, which is a Mechanicum axe because he's a tech marine and you have to go train up with the. You have to fucking get involved. Cut my wrist and black my eyes for the Emperor. Oops. So that's cool. Is this just the Iron Father one? I've just got the fucking wrong thing, haven't I? Shit. Sorry, everyone. I'm going back. Find it. Who is Ferios? Not that guy. There's the Iron Hands ones.
The Iron Father.
No, I've just brought up the wrong page. I was all prepped before the show. And then look at this. That lady's teaching us how to play Warhammer again. She's really good at Warhammer. She's always telling us how to play.
She knows how to play a lot of games.
Anyway, right, the Iron Hands. Here we go. So their doctrine is, whilst Devastator Doctrine is active, models with this ability do not suffer the penalty for moving, firing heavy weapons. In addition, whilst the Devastator Doctrine is active, when resolving an attack made with a heavy weapon by a model with this ability, you can reroll a hit roll of 1. Arguably,
Mwah.
fine.
I think it's really good.
Because you want to take loads of Dreadnoughts.
Because none of the
But don't most of them, this is not professional, apologies. Don't most of them just ignore the minuses for moving, firing heavy weapons? Do they not?
No, most I don't think there's a single Dreadnought that has that rule.
Wow. I did
And
not know
most of them
that.
have heavy weapons.
Oh.
So I think that, the reason that's good is because, not many Dreadnoughts have that rule. I don't think there's a single one. A lot of the Forge World ones have 2+ to hit, and the standard ones are 3+. So if you move, it's 4s, rolling 1s. So that tactic gives you a chance to build your list around not having... Because the issue that I had with my list is you have to have 2 captains unless you want to be sat in one big blob. Whereas that rule, you only really need the lieutenant nearby to get the real ones to wound because you're already getting the real ones to hit. Yeah. So you can have a satellite, couple of Dreadnoughts on a satellite on the flank.
I suppose, because it works against everything, right? Getting real ones to hit is great because all of you guys, I guess, versus all the vehicles and other stuff that you're going to be shooting against. I just, maybe I'm just seeing too much of the +1 to hit and +1 to wound from Ravenguard, and my brain's like, just do it, just have it for those situations. But anyway.
But that's just against characters. This is against everything.
Yeah, I know it's just against characters. I was just excited by it. So you might maybe right. Not maybe. More than likely you're right. Then you've got Students of History. So this is a Warlord trait. When this Warlord consolidates, it can move 6 inches, and they do not have to move closer to the nearest enemy model. That's fine. It can go loads of different ways.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. It gives you it's another little trick to catch people out. Tag something in combat that they might not expected.
F5. However, Blessing of the Machine God is Blessing of the Machine God has a warp charge value of 5. If manifested, select one friendly Iron Hands vehicle model within 12 inches of the Psyker. You can select a Titanic model if the result of the psychic test is an 8 or more. Until the start of the next psychic phase, when resolving an attack made with the model, add 1 to the hit roll. +1 to hit.
There you go.
On that Leviathan Dreadnought.
Yeah.
Doesn't need it though, does he? But against
Not
-1 to
really,
hit,
no.
it works.
Fire Raptor might need it. That'd be quite good.
Ooh.
Big Fire Raptor gunboat.
Oh, fuck. +1 to hit on that would suck. There are still loads more. However, so then... So then you've got the Ironstone, right? So when resolving an attack made with an Iron Hands vehicle with a unit within 3 inches of a friendly model with this relic, this is massive. Reduce any damage inflicted by 1 to a minimum of 1.
Brilliant.
100 bits from Did I Day there says here to make my Blitz sponsor Lobsheim's to play Becca Scott at Warcry. I'll challenge her. I will tweet her and challenge her on Twitter if this makes you happy, Dude Our Day, to play Warcry with her, and she will not reply to my tweet. But I will do it.
Yeah.
Don't you dare challenge me. For 500 bits, you can write the tweet for me. Exactly what I have to write. I don't care. Just tell me what to write, and I'll write it anyway. This is huge.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best items I've seen in the game, personally.
Yes.
It's a small bubble, which is probably a good thing, because if it was too big, then you could way more easily abuse it. But I think it's really good. And I had what do you think about this? It probably needs an FAQ. So there's a stratagem in the Space Marine Codex where you can reduce damage on a Dreadnought by 1.
Yes.
So what if you're No, half damage, sorry.
Yeah.
So the stratagem halves damage. In what order do these apply? So if something's coming in that's 6 damage, do you reduce it by 1 and then halve it around up to 3? Or do you halve it and then reduce it by 1, meaning 2?
Dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice.
That's how they do it in poker. That's how I do it in this. You're right. It does need like a structured FAQ.
Which one
but
comes
it's
first?
your army, right? So you would like make the most advantageous use of those rules possible. So half, I would half it at -1, and if someone and then someone would have to show me an example of why that wouldn't apply in that order.
Yeah.
There is something in Age of Sigmar where the most recent effect applies. So if you have something that happens in the hero phase, but then you do a counteracting thing that happens after. But these happen literally at the same time, simultaneously. So
I would say that the items probably, if we're looking at it like that, I would say the item's probably first, because the item exists at the start of the game and is always in existence up until the point where you use the stratagem, and that comes afterwards.
Yeah.
So I'd say maybe that, I don't know.
When resolving an attack made by an iron hands vehicle unit within 3 inches of a friendly model with this relic, reduce any damage inflicted by 1 to a minimum of 1. So when resolving an attack. So you're still in the process of resolving it. The other one is when you take damage, you half the damage taken. So you resolve it, take 1 off, then you half it, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah. There we go. Cracked it.
Did you see that Rolling Stone released the top 40 emo albums in honor of the Raven Guard? Oh, nice. Didn't know My Chemical Romance had 40 albums, but all of them will be bangers. Full bangers. So that's not as good as we first thought.
It's still good, because that strat that I was talking about, just for Dreadnoughts. But that's for vehicles, right?
Yes.
So Predators, whatever.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the interesting one.
Fire up ships.
I think what's interesting is this. I know a lot of the Dreadnoughts already have invuln saves, but not all of them have invuln saves. So having something like the automatic pervase on a Dorado also applies to vehicles, right? Mm-hmm. So being able to have a bunch of Predators have 5-up invulnerable saves and also reduce damage by 1.
Yeah, and having a 6-up DPR as well.
Yeah, and do you know what I was reading the stats on earlier? Like, it's not great, but Vindicator, D6 shots that do D6 damage, it's not brilliant. Like, agreed. Someone out there is just like literally thrown their popcorn.
D6 damage is rubbish, so inconsistent.
Or their Cocoa Pops that they're currently eating on this. They're like, fuck you, Rob! You know their shit and I love them. But I was like, because 3 of them are pretty cheap now.
Yeah, how much is one?
Oh, I'd have to actually go look at it. I looked at it earlier. But I thought that would be cool. And I don't know, like, because that would be 3d6 shots. And then they'd have 5-up invulns. They're pretty good. But because their toughness, I think their toughness 8.
Toughness 8, yeah.
Which is why I was looking at them.
Either that was a recent change or was that... Oh, they've always been 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right, Aladdin Sane. Iron Hand's character also gives a 5-up invulnerable aura as well. So
the new guy.
So we'll move on. But yeah, so the fact that any vehicles can have their damage reduced by 1 is a pretty big deal, and makes them way more survivable, especially on like the marine stuff as well. Like, sorry, not the marine stuff, the Primaris stuff. You know, we look at all these kind of other things, but those big dumb Redemptors with them 16 wounds, giving them a 5-up invuln and then also reducing damage by 1. It's a bit like, fuck.
Yeah. They're going to have to go up in points again. Hopefully.
Up so many points. So then they've got addition, use right time, tactical objective. So then they've told us about a tactical objective that you can use for 2 CP, so I don't care. And again, there's more book stuff. So that looks fucking cool, right?
Yeah.
The recent change of indicators is they are also D6 shots, no matter the size of the unit. That's the recent change. So it's 3d6 shots from three of them, obviously.
Yeah.
But I just think that's pretty good. But it's but the issue is that they're only 24-inch range.
They're quite short range.
It's quite short, but D6 shots, man, do D6 damage.
But again, they're really good. They'd be really good in Iron Hands because you're short range. You're gonna have to move probably to get in range, and with the Iron Hands tactic thing, they ignore the -1 for moving. And they've got a damage table, so they double their wounds on the damage table. you're more survivable because of maybe that item and then the 6-up DPR.
Yeah. I think
So
I
they just
genuinely
got a
think.
massive boost.
I'm not saying they're great, but I'm just saying it's something to look at, right?
Yeah.
But because I just looked at it earlier, I was like, "Fuck!" They got really. I've really enjoyed reading the Space Marine book. Like, I've just been like, reading through it. I've just been like, "Yeah, this is cool." And then, truth be told, I was like, "Just take the shitty scouts out, take crappy old tactical Marines out. Look, they look shit. Look, if you've got them and you love them, I'm sorry.
I think
Use them as conscripts or something."
I think scouts do have a. I think scouts do still have a place in a Marine list, just because the drop pod change and lots of infiltrating stuff like the tactical warsuits, like the event house at the weekend. One of my games that they became very relevant. That I had 3 units of scouts because he had 3 tactical warsuits that were going to be in my face turn 1 unless I had those scouts to push back his infiltrate. And then drop pods that can come into.
You can do the same with Reavers, right?
Yes, but they're more expensive.
Okay.
And they're not troops.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, fair enough. Well, okay. Like, overall, though, it does seem like a lot of people are going to be playing Iron Hands in the future, especially vehicle-heavy lists, which we already saw that.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame lots of people are jumping on the Iron Hands bandwagon.
I, for one, would never jump on the Iron Hands bandwagon.
No, I've been on there all along.
You have. If anything, you're the only person who I know who plays Iron Hands up until this point.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I think, long story short, that I think they both seem very interesting. It's nice having that counterplay as well. You take Gulliman, or you take, Ultramarines, and you go for the kind of car part rerolls to hit, rerolls to wound, repulsor sort of shit. Or you go for the more survivable version with the Iron Hands, and kind of do something similar. It's not a bad shout overall.
I think I would probably go with the
Infiltrators. Thanks.com.
Yeah, that's it. I would probably go with the Iron Hands one over the Gulliman rerolls and stuff because I think the longer you're there to be able to shoot is better than short-term quality shooting.
Yes,
does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So if I'm there,
I think the longer that you're there is better. But then there's that conversation about output in 40k. Can you actually output so much that no one can survive? Realistically, but whatevs, bro. For me, the Iron Hands seem cool because I like their mechanicum nature. I like their feeding in that narrative bent. Raven Guard, they're kind of always described as masters of stealth, but then you can kind of see them, and I don't know.
Yeah, and they use a lot of jump packs, right? That must make a lot of noise.
I think they make a lot of noise, but then everything in 40k makes a lot of noise. So
yeah,
whatevs. I played an All Dreadnought Space Wolves list the other day, and it was a fun game. Didn't have all the rerolls like this though. White Scars are going to be nasty with the right builds, says Dude Our Day. Yeah, so there's loads. We're actually going to talk about more Marine stuff next week because as the stuff keeps coming out, I think we're just going to take some hot picks. That's what we're going to do and just talk about them because it's just real fun. I actually think Games Workshop are knocking out the park on this particular release. Some of the stuff's stupid or some of the stuff's not as good as the other stuff. Raven Guard example versus Iron Hands. But it still gives you some narrative if you really like those. It gives you some narrative and some playability, which are quite different. And I think the character one's good. I think that's stealthy good. See what I did there?
Stealth good.
Because it's Raven Guard.
Yeah.
Raven Guard. Yeah, so interesting. And then some of the other things that are an issue, right? In the game, like a bunch of demon princes, they're an issue. Plague bearers. It doesn't help against plague bearers. Doesn't help against Tau.
No.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know.
No, not sure.
No. Alandron would like to say, why take Gulliman when you can fit Manius, 2 Victorious Guard, Tigris, a Libby, a Chapter,
Toastmaster?
a Captain, a Lieutenant, and an Apothecary all in a Repulsor?
Really?
Yeah. Why would you do that? I don't know.
Because then someone might surround the repulsor, kill the repulsor, surround it, and stop them all getting out.
That is true.
Yeah.
And then wipe it out.
Yeah.
That would
and
be
they're all
great
just
fun.
dead.
I hope that they do that. Someone does that. Apparently, Imperial Fist is +1 to wound and +1 damage against buildings and vehicles.
All those fucking buildings running around.
I mean, +1 to wound against vehicles is decent, and also +1 damage. Okay, well, I think Iron Hands seem to have been the winner there, and plus they've got a new kick-ass model, and Shrike's also been released. That's me being politically correct then, because I think he looks awful. But that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Do you disagree or agree, or have your own opinion?
I don't.
What do we all think about Shrike, the model?
Shrike, I think I said last week I don't like his base. Like, they wanted him raised up and they put him just on the... It's just like a big bit of metal just sticking out the floor and he's standing on it. I think people have commented on the internet about his backpack. He's got a backpack on his backpack.
He does.
Yeah.
I reckon they definitely have gotten to some new starters in the design team at the minute.
Yeah, I think that Age of Sigmar model that's come out, the flesh giant bone monster thing.
I mean, that's fucking awful.
That's just the worst model I've ever seen in my life.
I've ever seen. People are trying to defend it online. I'm like, you're a fucking sellout. Yeah. Anyone who thinks that's good is a dick.
Really trying.
Yeah. Really trying. Dude asked a really good question, which I really do think we need to talk about.
The hard-hitting questions from Dude Okay.
Why do Imperial Fists hate buildings? Why? Architects of the universe against Imperial Fists. Why? Do you think it's like a Hitler thing? Like they got like kicked out of... Dawn got kicked out of like architecture school and was like... But they build buildings. They literally build walls.
Well, I think that it's kind of like... I mean, recently I saw a news story where there was a gay... In America, there was a gay conversion therapist who did this... He did this for 20 years and he eventually came out as gay.
Okay, yes.
So they hate they hate buildings so much to hide the fact that they love buildings so much.
Oh, yeah. That makes loads of sense. Yeah, okay, that's right. Okay, they're building curious.
Yeah.
All right, nice. Zengo Jack says that he thinks Shrike's fine. And Alan Jones says, I'm disappointed by your lack of face and vision in Ultravision. Chapter Master of Alrak cannot wait for his rules. Zango Jack says it doesn't offend me. He'd be fine without the hair and all the junk on him. Penguin 2000 says, to be fair, it's miles better than the old stupid model, and it's silly pose, which is true. The bone thing looks like a 10-year-old War Machine and Hordes model from 10 years ago. Architecture snobs, says Scott G. And then they are good at making them, so they know how to knock them down. Do not say lol Nickers. Fucking hate the pile of rotten garbage trash chicken. Agreed. Talking about that bone monster. All right, cool. I think we've talked anon about the new releases, but we haven't. We haven't.
No. What else is there?
Because Wiley's not been here. That's right, Mr. Tom. You know his last name. I've forgotten. Tom
Layton.
Well, you've been Tom Layton. They've also announced new Plastic Aspect Warriors, but also they've shown. We've seen some of the stuff from the Psychic Awakening. That's actually cool to talk about. I like the narrative, man. I fucking challenge you. I like the rules too, but I fucking like the story. And in the story, because they've been like, you know, the end of the Eldar world is like when they get like they've kind of got a weird Viking like.
Ragnarok.
Yeah, they've got like it's called like Valandar or something. I can't remember. But what's 100 bits? Nikos wins the internet today from Do Not Day, and also it did a little unicorn, which is very apt and fitting for the story.
Yeah.
JBoob says, if the rules for the bone thing are good, I'm going to tell everyone I love the model.
I've always loved it.
Oh my God.
Thought it was great.
Can we before we talk about Leviathan, before Dreadnoughts, and I know loads of you are here to talk about Dreadnoughts, I'm sorry, can we just talk about us as a group? Because we are the most two-faced bunch of dickheads in the world, aren't we? Because I do the same. I'm like, I'm not sure about this, and I find out its rules are good. I'm like, yeah, I really like this. Yeah, this is really, really good. Have you got an example of where you genuinely don't like the model, but you like its rules, so you've pretended?
I think I used to hate the Devadio model.
The Devadio Dreadnought?
Devadio Dreadnought model, but then I started using it, and now I like it. And I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like the model now because the rules changed my mind and made me see it in a different light. And now I'm like, yeah, I quite like the model. Or I just generally have changed my mind on the model. I don't know.
But what has changed your mind? Because it's still the same thing. Okay.
Maybe because I bought an own one.
Say hi. Hope you're well. Alan John says it's Bone Dreadnought. Just like your Fate Dwarf, says Ruskels. I've always liked Chaos Dwarfs, which is why I bought them initially. I went in there and I bought them.
Have you always liked Changed Host as well? Zeech Demons?
Yeah, I have. What do I think I bought a lot of that? Maybe Orc Boys. Orc Boys.
I like the Old Boy kit.
Come on, they look crap.
Nah.
Come on.
When I see 90 boys on the table, that makes me happy.
It does make me happy, but I've never seen 90 well-painted boys on the table. I've seen 90, like...
Are you saying mine aren't well painted?
Yeah, I am. To your face. Fucking take it. do you want to disagree?
Yeah.
Penguin says, I don't like a model. I won't buy it. I refuse to buy Grav Centurions, even when they were the most OP thing ever. I remember Rob defending the Zeech list back in the day. I had to. Oh, wait. No, I didn't. You leave them lads be, says Zeech. The dude that he's giving the arms. Space Marine Scouts.
The head now the Space Marine Scout kit, I don't mind it. The head is awful.
Agreed.
Those faces, but when you head swap, like I put Chaos Warrior heads on mine.
Oh really?
And people always comment, say, "Oh, they look cool."
Do you know what models I want to get because of how they look, but like, and also because of their rules. The rules are really helping me. But no, I want to get because of like I like the idea of them. Wolfen. I'm like, yeah, Wolfen.
Oh, no.
But actually, if you look at the models, they're crap. Like, if you
some
actually look...
some of the poses, like
what's this? This guy, fucking Karate Kid Wolfen. Yeah. Alan just my only regret with the whole Primaris thing is it means no refresh on scouts or bikes. They've had a refresh.
Yeah, like the Phobos armor is kind of the scout armor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Penguin 2000 says I still use my old school metal scouts. Dorado is like a bridge pillar with an ice beaker, but it's 5+ invulnerable though, so who gives a fuck? I love this. Yeah, Riverdance Wolfen. Yeah, so I really I like the idea of him, but then I saw him, I was like, oh. No. Whereas the exact opposite of how I feel about Logan Grimnir, yeah, because I specifically want to take him to piss everyone off. Like, I want his rules to be fucking broke as a joke when they redo Space Wolves. I want it to be like stupid. Hi, Diagnosis.
Yeah, dude.
We're about to start talking about Dreadnoughts, but we were asking. Oh, by the way, podcast listeners,
waylaid.
Podcast listeners, if please tweet us or Facebook us with models that you've pretended you've liked just because their rules are dumb stupid. Okay, Iron Hands are the new hotness. I heard. That's correct. Welcome to the show. We could probably close the show up now. Iron Hands, go read it.
Iron Hands are great.
Off you go. Right, so we're going to talk Dreadnoughts.
Yes.
And one tactical warsuit.
Yeah. Honorary mention.
Honorary mention to the tactical. Rob, if you want podcasters to post something, then post some podcasts. Diagnosis, I literally am posting one right now. He's right, though. Yeah.
He's told you, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's told me. I can't ever disagree with Dick van der Hoosen.
No.
I'll post them up. It's because I got a new thing. Because all my PSDs are on this, and now it's on that. Never mind. He's right, and I feel silly. Right. What are we going to talk about? Which Dreadnought would you like to talk about first?
Well, I've got them up in Battlescribe, and the top one for me is Contemptor Dreadnoughts. Is that the same for you? Is it you got a Contemptor?
I've got a Contemptor Dreadnought.
Okay, let's go in Battlescribe order as a homage to the Battlescribe peeps.
Congratulations, Battlescribe, on being the Honest Wargamers 2019 Best App. We will do an award show.
Warhammer Hero.
Question: would everyone like us to do an award show? A Warhammer Heroes award show, you could call it. Would you like us? Or a Warhammer D-Bags award show?
And then the people who get the Warhammer Hero status might feel empowered and start telling people what to do in the community.
That's just some general goss. Yeah, let's ignore that. Yes, always, yep. All right, are we doing it? Let's go. The Nikos and Rob Dundees of Warhammer. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Are we breaking enough IP laws there by mixing them together?
I don't know what you mix in.
What you've never seen The American Office?
No, I've seen some, but I've never watched it properly. No.
Are you? That's insane. Okay, if I say I declare bankruptcy to you, does it mean nothing? I declare. Okay, sorry. The Warhammer Dick Bag show. I prefer the D-Bag side of things. Okay, all right, deal. All right, Contemptor Dreadnoughts.
So Contemptor Dreadnoughts. So they can only have. So these are my least favorite type of Dreadnought.
I'll do the stats while you do the weapon profiles.
Okay.
So Contemptor Dreadnought is toughness 7 with 10 wounds and a 3-up save. And as far as I'm aware, it doesn't have an invulnerable save.
No, it does not.
Okay, no invulnerable save for that guy.
So.
Okay.
And it can only have a power fist with combi bolter
Rubbish.
and a multi-melter or an assault cannon.
But all the Dreadnoughts are better now because they're pointed at their base cost of 4 and they've get a 5 attacks.
Yeah.
Because of the
Shock assault.
Because of shock assault, which is pretty big on these guys.
Yeah. And this one is relatively quick. What is
And
it?
he hits on
Movement
2s.
9?
He hits on 2s.
Yeah.
So he'd be strength 14 minus 3 damage. I was thinking about this today, actually, looking at some of the 3 damage stat profiles. The issue is in 40k, do you not want to like just kill a thing dead that turn?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want to do. You don't want to be like sniping little shots out. Because I was looking at the Space Marine captain in Phobos armor, not Phobos armor, Gravis armor. I was like, that guy's pretty gangster. Like, he's all right. He's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But he just won't kill a thing alive to dead in a turn that you need him to kill alive to dead in a turn. So he's out.
Yeah, I always just take really the cheapest characters possible for my Marine list. Like at the weekend, I really like the captain on bike, and I just had 2 captains on bike with storm shields, and that's all they had. Because you get 6 wounds with that, toughness 5. They're not infantry, and you get a 3+ vulnerable save. I think the reason why it's important for them not to be infantry is like if there's like a Vindicator assassin who's sniping infantry, wounded them on 2+. Not my bike dudes.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah. So I usually take my characters relatively cheap because they're not the ones doing the damage on the whole.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
But I think they are quite a good counterpunch if someone gets close and you can wallop them with that guy.
The Contemptor.
The Gravis guy or the Contemptor.
I'm going to, by the way, write this down. I'm a note taker now. Nick has maybe been to a note taker, so I remember to do more things. But apparently that hasn't helped me remember to upload the podcast. Halud, thank you very much for subscribing. And that's right, everyone awarded. I'd like to give Dionysus the Clapback of the Show award. I would also like to discontinue the Clapback of the Show award.
The first and last.
To stop it, encouraging people to clap back at me. Contemptor D. What do you guys give a Contemptor Dreadnought out of 10? And also, All Boy Phil says you can have an award show if you include an award for the best Twitter handle parody. The Honest Wargamer. This is just me and the Adequate Wargamer in contention because he's the best Honest Wargamer.
Wargamer.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Alan Draw does not have a 5+ vulnerable save, so it
does not.
Crap. And Tomb Tristan, that sounds exciting. Yeah.
I'd give this one a solid 3 out of 10 for me.
3 out of 10, right. I take 2 Hellforge Contemptors in most lists, solid 9. Ruskles, that's not the question.
These aren't Hellforge
You can see the
Contemptors.
screen right now. We're doing Contemptors first. What do you give it? You give it a 3?
Yeah.
I give it a 2 because it's monopose and it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Contemptors are reasonable, but we'll never take one when I look at the others. Don't look at me in the eyes. Okay. Contemptor 10 out of 10 says DeVolt. Why? DeVolt, why?
Yeah, why?
Why? I'd be interested in that.
There's better Contemptor Dreadnoughts that we'll go through.
Okay, next
Just
up
the reason why I don't like this one is because you can't double weapon
double
it,
gun,
which is where it's at in my opinion for Dreadnoughts.
And Tom's not here, so I feel like I'll be remiss in not saying a Tom statement. Each unit has to have a role in your army.
Yeah.
And this is a multi-role model,
Yeah,
but it does
like,
neither of those 2 jobs well.
Yeah, he's like shooting a bit and punching a bit. Yeah.
Okay. I've got a Relic Contemptor is better, so 5 out of 10. Contemptor is 3 out of 10. Going to take that chassis, run it as a Relic. Dennis, the China cast models are amazing, though. Again, we're trying to fucking concentrate, guys. All right, so next up, the
lowly...
The Dreadnought.
The Dreadnought.
The Dreadnought.
The Dreadnought.
Stick me... Who put earlier? That's making me chuckle loads. Stick me in a coffin, Sarge. Send me in. So just the Dreadnought, 115
Just
points
standard
base.
Dreadnought. Yeah.
Well, not base. What have you equipped yours with?
Well,
He's toughness 7 with only 8 wounds, no invulnerable save,
and
still
no
4
damage
attacks,
and no damage table.
no damage table, wounds, hit punches you and shoots you on 3s, WS and BS3. Yeah.
So if we're assuming your index version is still alive, you've got lots of options. You can have a missile launcher, twin autocannons, combat weapon with the heavy flamer, combat weapon with the storm bolter, or assault cannon, heavy plasma, multi-melter, twin autos, twin heavy bolter, twin heavy flamer, twin las cannon.
Well, I equipped mine with a twin auto cannon and an assault cannon.
Why have you mixed the two? What's the rationale between mixing
Just
the
not
two?
ready into segregation. Like,
Just
pretty
not.
liberal. Just want everyone to get along.
Okay.
And, like, I don't want to fucking... And also, like, I mean, I didn't have any justification. I won't lie to you. Can you just take double twin autocannon?
Yes,
I'd
that's always been my choice.
Yeah, I'd probably choose that then. It's 48 inches, heavy 4, strength 7, -1, 2 damage.
Yeah.
Fucking popping marines like they're going out of fashion. Pop,
Yeah.
pop, 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 pop.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's for its points. It's got great range, good AP now with the tactical doctrines. Flat 2 damage is fantastic for Primaris killing, and just like, it's not that variable D3 or D6 damage. You know what you're getting. You're getting flat 2s.
Penguin 2000 says, I quite often run las cannon and missile launcher as hits.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice. For sort of like I think that's called the Rifleman Dread. I think that's
Is
the
it?
nickname for it. Yeah,
That's fucking rad.
I think so.
Next time, can we do a show where we read up all the narrative on just like one specific dread before we go into it and get fucking real serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really into that.
You'll have to read the narrative, Rob.
All right, fine. I'll do that.
Yeah. I think, the last kind of missile launcher one's really good for one that's just going to sit really far back. And I think the autocannon one for me is very all-purpose. It can kill chaff really well, it can kill medium infantry really well, and it can also kill tanks pretty well. Whereas the last kind of missile launcher variant is just going to kill very small amount of infantry really well, and do really good damage to vehicles. So I think it's what role do you want that dreadnought to fill?
So in your head cannon, is it an auto take?
No comment.
I've missed you guys so much. I fucking love doing live shows. Let's go. Dino says, I like the idea of normal dreadnoughts, but not the practice. What Rob says, that Tom says, it needs to do one job well and reasonable at that, but not good when you focus on melee or shooting. Double las, please. Flashback to 5th edition and Grey Knights Flyman Dreads. Don't know what that means.
Oh yeah, so Grey Knights have got a spell where they can cast it on a unit and they can target things that don't need line of sight. So you can have your dreadnought hid behind a building, cast that spell on it, so it can't be seen, and it's just like heat-seeking las cannon shots over the building.
Oh fuck yeah, that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
What I like about this though, the cheap dreadnought with the twin autocannons, because it's barely even like just over 100 points. Is like we've said before, if you find something else that can like multiply how good those points are, so a force multiplier like the 5 up invulnerable save from a Dorado, or the Iron Hands -1, -1 damage, stuff like that, and then also a 5 up invulnerable save. I feel like you're really getting a lot of benefits out of like such a cheap unit, because then you're rocking 8 shots per one, so 16, 24 shots out of 300 points. That seems pretty decent at toughness 7. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, and because they're hitting on 3s, when I was running it in my list at the weekend, I had a chapter master floating about, so depending on where he needed to be, but he quite often sat near these guys, because 3s rolling 1s is like
just whispering
really
the
awesome.
words of encouragement.
Yeah.
Go on, shoot a little better.
You guys can do it.
I want you to blitz
I believe
all night. Have you seen Remember the Titans?
No.
That's the best sports movie ever. In my opinion, obviously apart from Mighty Ducks, but best sports movie ever. Then there's a scene where he's like, I want you to blitz all night, and it's so cheesy and American. It's the best. You should watch it. We'll watch it together, and we'll do a review show.
Okay.
And coming soon, Nick and Rob's movie show. Tom won't be there, like all the movies he's seen.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you like to give the humble dreadnought out of 10?
I give the humble dreadnought out of 10 an 8, because I think it's
because it's so cheap that it's good.
cheap for its points, and and like you say, you can stack things around it like chapter masters, lieutenants, Doradios, and all this kind of other stuff to really make good value out of their low points.
Yeah, agreed. So an 8. I don't disagree with that.
And they're not that hard. They're not that easy to get rid of.
No, at toughness 7. Not if
Yeah,
there's because they'll be low. Because at 100 points, they're not going to be the main threat in your army.
No.
Right. So if you're running a bunch of dreads as well, which we are planning on running a bunch of dreads.
Yeah.
So is this a living colour 2 snaps in a circle movie review show? We should do that. I don't know what that means, but that sounds great. Playing the new better than Yannari factions. playing the new Better Than Yunari factions. I hope everything's better than Yunari. They've had 2 years. They can fuck off. Yeah. Also, more bonuses to plus shoot fly out the sky would be good.
Yeah.
Alan Draw says 8 out of 10. It's cheap and you need to kill it, but you don't want to because other things are going to be more dangerous. Yes, that's what he said.
Definitely, yeah.
Saurus Knight 10 out of 10 because it's got me into Space Marines back in the day. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, nice.
That's nice. They're big enough pain that you have to deal with them, but not prime target. 8 out of 10. DeBolt says 10 out of 10. By the way, I think DeBolt might give every
There's a
Dreadnought
theme.
a 10
There's
out
a
of 10.
theme coming, yeah.
Theme. Let's see if that continues.
Yeah.
Brian Sproulers says skit in the old Living Colour comedy. Please send me a link on Facebook. I'd like to see that, whatever that means. Okay, so it's got an 8 out of 10. Congratulations to the humblest of Dreadnoughts.
The humblest of Dreadnoughts.
Next, the Games Workshop's favourite Dreadnought to talk about, the Ironclad Dreadnought. Famous the world over at this stage. It's toughness 8 with 8 wounds, Nick. So it's got +1 toughness.
Tougher, yeah.
But it does have some limitations on its weapon options.
It does.
Also, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for this model when it fights with 2 melee weapons. Hits on 3s. Yeah.
So it's basically geared up to be a combat Dreadnought. So you've got a seismic hammer or the chain fist. And then you can either have another combat weapon on the other side or a hurricane bolter.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't think you see many of these, do you?
It's got a cool name, the Seismic Hammer.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want that?
But, like, it's just going to be... It's only movement 6.
It's faster than...
Movement 6.
So
it's going to have to waddle across the board.
Doesn't have an invulnerable save.
No. Toughness 8 is all right, but...
He's more expensive than the Dreadnought we just talked about.
Yeah, and worse.
And worse.
Because of one of your new phrases that you stole from Warhammer Weekly, it can't project its power very far.
I did steal that from Warhammer Weekly. But it's a good term. And I'm all about creating a standardised language. And I was like, those guys are smart. I don't think I'm the smartest person in the room. I just steal from the smartest people in the room. That's because I'm an old Games Workshop employee. It's really hard to get that out of you. Yeah,
that's part of the induction day, isn't it?
Have you got any IP you've heard about that we haven't stolen yet? That's actually in the interview process.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think so. But
if I find anything, I'll let you know.
If you watch the Clone Wars, because you should get some new Space Marines and just find them on Mars. Just find them. It took a huge points drop and not far enough. So the Ironclad gets... What does it get, Nick?
Guess a 1.
Wow. A flat 1. Twitch chat. Mini Painter J says plagiarism is the ultimate form of flattery, which is why. If you have a blob advancing, it's a great countercharge unit, says Alendro. Disagree. But, okay. -1, says Viking. It's not going to get a lot of love, so we can move straight on. 2, talking about one of the oldest boys, one of the newest boys.
Yeah. New kids on the block.
The Redemptor Dreadnought. This motherfucker's got 13 wounds at toughness 7 with a 3-up armor save, but no invulnerable save.
No.
Yeah. Metal out of 10. Ooh, that explains the new Crick's Bone Reapers. So what do you think of the Redemptor?
I used to not think too much of it, but then I played my friend Andy a couple of weeks ago and he had 2 of them, and they were Iron Hands. And he had all the Gatling cannons on them, so they just put out a shit ton of shooting.
Shit ton. They're
quite hard to get rid of, and they're quite they stay on their top or middle profile a long time now. They're Iron Hands, so they've got a lot of wounds. You got 6 at DPR, relatively high toughness. Just put out a lot of shots, and they're quite good in combat if you get them in. Because they've got a flat 3 damage fist.
Yeah, I actually I played my friend Chris against them, and I threw some Bulgrins into an not an Ironclad, a tactical warsuit, didn't kill it, and between the tactical warsuit and the Redemptor,
slapped a few,
just slapped the Bulgrins to pieces because the flat 3 damage just went through them, and obviously Custodians will be a little bit scared of them as well, but Custodians will probably be able to kick their ass back, and you don't see Custodians full troops particularly much, realistically. But it's the shit ton of damage.
Yeah, and if you give him a Stormbolter and all the Gatling cannons at 155 points, I think that's a pretty solid and good investment for what they do for the points.
I do agree. I don't want to go on a tangent, but Scott was just asking when you did play your friend Rick the other day. You played Rick when he was using Iron Hands?
Redemptors? Oh, Andy.
Andy.
Yes.
Was he using your childhood Iron Hands army? Because you've been into them for so long.
He was, but it's actually his because I sold him to him. It was heartbreaking to let go of that childhood army that I painted up when I was just 10 years old. It was heartbreaking.
Good. All right. Yeah. So obviously they're the new boys on the block. What's nice is when you start to get up to this like 13 wounds thing. Like, obviously having taking 1 damage off and halving the wounds, that's pretty good on such a large wound pool here. But they still don't have an invulnerable save, and a lot of their shots are fairly, not particularly long range. Like the 30 inches on the heavy onslaught's good, but like if you really do have to get them into the mid range. But I don't think that they suffer what we've just accused the humble dreadnought of doing. The humble contemptor of doing, in that I think that their combat is an additional bonus. Yeah,
they've got enough shooting to, because you can't swap out their. You always have to have their fist.
It's D6,
but they've got enough shoot
as well, not flat 3.
I think it's flat 3. I think
no redemptive fist. It's D6.
Okay. Oh yeah, so it's just the Warsuit that's flat 3. Yeah. I think it's got enough shooting to justify it for its points. Like you say, the fighting is a bonus on top.
But it's a very good. It's really good. Like it's it's not it's its own counterpunch unit. You think, I need to go deal with that. But actually, if you get within range of it, and it starts out pretty slow, movement 8. Like, so it's not overly fast, but you get within that range, it's going to come kick your face in.
So I played with 2 of them at the weekend, and obviously with the Derridio supporting them, they've got the invulnerable save and they've got the 6-up DPR.
You played with them, used them.
Yeah. So I had two of them on my list at the weekend. So, I think they worked really, really well. I didn't get loads out of them because they died, because they were always my forefront units. They were always at the front, and the shooter dreadnoughts were behind, so they were sort of slowly walking forward, and someone's got to deal with them, and it takes quite a lot of effort to deal with them, particularly with the stratagem where you're reducing damage by half on them. But they always died relatively early in all my games, but they bought enough. They were enough of a threat that my opponent had to deal with them to give the rest of the dreadnoughts time to shoot what they needed to shoot. And if you ignore them, it's like a big stompy dreadnought running at you that's shooting you and punching in the face.
That's true, and it just does kick out a ton of shots.
So it's really good for. So in my list, I didn't have. They fitted the role of like clearing chaff and things like that, because all my other dreadnoughts were good at killing medium infantry and vehicles. But if I needed to shoot vehicles, they've got a lot. They've got a lot of shots at strength 5 AP2. So. They can still put a few wounds on big vehicles.
Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to rate the Redemptor Dreadnought out?
I'm going to give it personally another 8.
Wow, that's pretty big.
8 for me.
I'm not. I'm going to give it a 7 because I think it's fugly.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone in the chat earlier said it's got dad bod, and I've never laughed more in my own mind. It's also got a tiny, tiny waist. It looks like a swimmer. That's like all shoulders. It's like. Those legs aren't built to support that upper body. But yeah, they're fine. Like, and also all of the bonuses that you get for being Space Marines now, specifically the doctrines, are crazy on some of those weapons. So I'm not about it. Alan Joel gives it a 6 out of 10. Brad Glover says, "Bing 9 from me." Also, welcome to the show. Okay, so fair enough. And then it's also got its plasma gun as well. It's variant, but I probably would go for the heavy onslaught Gatling cannon. Yeah, personally.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Relic Contemptor Dreadnought. Yeah. So this guy's got his own 5-up invulnerable save, which you do pay for in points. It also has got a 6-up DPR, so damage differential roll.
Yeah.
And then you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for this model if it's equipped with 2 close combat weapons. By the way, if you are someone who's running double close combat Contemptor Dread, you're just a gangster. You just get up on the right side of bed every morning, look the world in the eye and go, fuck you.
Fuck you, I'm going to punch some things.
You probably also drive backwards down the street because you're mentally... I'm not going to finish that sentence. I didn't know what word was safe to say after that, so I just... You're in the trade. What's the right word to say after? Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Person.
So what do you think of the Relic Contemptor Dreadnought?
I think it's
hit
really,
wounds
really
on twos,
good.
by the way. And it's got 12 wounds with a 2-up save.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic dreadnought. as a long-term Iron Hands player, I'm frustrated by the fact that it already has an inbuilt DPR because you don't get both.
Yeah, you don't get both.
So I feel like if I choose that in an Iron Hands list, I'm certain amount of its points are for that, and I feel like I'm wasting that rule.
However, if you chose that model in a Salamander's army,
yeah, then it's way better.
Yeah, because you're getting the Salamander's bonuses and also
And
getting
DPR as well.
Yeah, the other bonuses as well.
And in Salamanders, because it's got 2-up save, all those AP1 stuff, you're still keeping that 2-up save, so that's really good.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
I'd say this is a good shout for a Salamander Dread.
Yeah, and this one can have double weapon, like a proper Dreadnought should be able to. You can have the C-beam cannon, which is a really weird weapon that gets stronger as it's further away. You can have heavy plasma cannons, 2 carries assault cannons, 2 multi-melters, 2 twin autocannons, 2 twin heavy bottles, and 2 twin las cannons. I think quite a lot of people are running Contempt to Dreadnoughts with 2 twin las cannons, just for like really dedicated anti-tank
4 shots.
Dreadnoughts. Yeah, 4 las cannon shots.
4 shot hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s more than likely because there'll be a dude nearby. That's pretty impressive. And for a little under 200 points. So
yeah, you can put a cyclone missile launcher on top, but for 38 points, I have no idea why you would put that on because it's only cyclone missile launcher. It's 36 inches. You can either do a heavy 2, so you can either have 2 crack missiles or 2d3 strength 4 shots, which just seems rubbish.
It does seem
for
rubbish.
that many points. So
and also, you're already a third of the way there to just your basic Dreadnought.
Yeah,
so why not just
have
do that?
Dreadnought, yeah.
The Penguin 2000 says Contemptor is quite fugly though, and that is something we needed to put into. We probably should have started this out.
I don't know.
What we should have rated it on.
I quite like it.
Okay, no, I quite like it too. But
because I've got one which is a Forge World one, not the plastic kit one, and it's got quite a lot of cool ornate like archers things on it and lots of cool stuff on it.
You mean the Heresy ones?
Yeah, I think
the Heresy ones are amazing. Like, so they're really good. That's why I didn't know there was any non-Heresy relics.
Well, there's just like the plastic kit.
Oh no, don't buy that. Screw that. Get your good Heresy one from China.
From 4.
Anyway, so what do you think about the Relic Contemptor Dreadnought in all? What would you equip it with?
Either twin las cannon or twin autocannon, but an outside shout that I quite like, just because it's a cheap option, is you can give it two heavy plasma cannons. And again, I think that would be great for salamanders, because obviously the salamander trait is you can reroll a hit, a wound, and a damage roll.
Yeah.
The plasma cannon is not relevant for the damage because it's a flat 2, but the plasma cannon has it's got a few small number of really good quality shots, which I think is really good for the salamander trait. Because if you have, for example, you've got 2 assault cannons, that's 12 shots. So 1 reroll for the hits and the wounds, you're not getting much value out of it. But with the heavy plasma cannon, you'd get in on average 4 shots. So hitting on 2s, you might roll a 1, so you can reroll it with the salamander trait. If you're using him like as an outlier from your main death bubble, like you could have him on his own on the flank. And also I love plasma, so that's another reason why to take it.
Okay, all right.
Because with double plasma, he's only 142 points, so it's quite hard to get rid of, and can put out some pretty good shooting with the plasmas, I think.
Yeah, well, and also hitting on 2s is a big deal. Someone in the chat said earlier, actually having the double crack the missile launcher as well. 2 crack missiles, and they're normally 20 points each, so 38 points, and you're putting it on a body that's a 2+ to hit. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I suppose
that's not a bad shout.
If you had the Contemptor with the 2 plasma cannons and the Cyclone missile launcher, that's only 180 points. So yeah, that's on average 6 strength 8 shots, which is pretty good for it.
Yeah. And C-beams, do you not like the C-beams? Longer. That's the ones that they shoot longer away, right?
Yeah, so the C-beam cannon is really weird.
Yeah, the Forge World Contemptor kits are amazing. The plastics are hobby crime, says Alan Drow. Someone asked, is Tancred been brought up yet? But I don't think so. And then someone's just put, DeBolt's building 3 double claw relic Death Guard dreads at the minute. Beautiful models. Yeah, I would, if you get the opportunity, go on to the Forge World website and look at the Horus Heresy Dreadnoughts. You can just use them in 40k. And they'd look fucking rad. Which is why I cuss on the Redemptor Dreadnought all the time. because like if you take the 1,000 Suns Dreadnought from which Tomb King Tristan's a big fan of as well, if you take that and compare it to the Redemptor, it's literally not a competition. That thing's fucking gorgeous versus Potato Bod. He literally, that's what I've just worked out what he looks like.
Mr. Potato Head.
He looks like Mr. Potato Head with guns. The Potato Dread. There we go. We've cracked it. I was worried. I was like, why do I find him endearing and cute? The Potato Bot. That's correct. So what are we giving this? The Relic? Contemptor?
Don't know. What do you reckon? It's gonna be high. It's gonna be high.
I think it's high because currently obviously it's hard. It's more useful in other. It brings something the other things haven't brought so far. In that it's useful with other traits. Like it's useful in salamanders as an example, right? Or even would be useful in against the knights, like having it in Raven Guard, like +1 to wound would be pretty cool on those.
Yeah.
On those, so you'd be hitting on 2s, and then you'd be wounding on 2s with those las cannons. So that makes them pretty fucking reliable, realistically, on a pretty tough body. Yeah, I think good. Hi, Moon Tyrannid, how you doing? It's ugly. I kind of like it like a bulldog. Hot 8 says Bragg Lover. I don't disagree with that. I think it's good.
Yeah, I just didn't want to say 8 again because I said 8 quite a lot.
Well, you've only said 8 for 2 things.
Oh,
no,
okay.
you said the Redemptor, but don't worry. I knocked that down to a 7. Moon Tyrannid is very excited. I said it right. I don't drink caffeine anymore, so now I'm able to have more serious conversations and read. I'm a little bit slower, but more practiced.
Okay.
Whatever. Fuck you all. I don't want to talk to you anymore. You make me feel like self-conscious. This is what no caffeine does. And I keep looking at the screen. You guys. Yeah. 10 and 10 says Andrew, great model, skill 2+, save 2+, Azilian weapon options. All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Giving
it's
it
very
an
versatile.
8. Because don't forget, 9's rare. Yeah. You'd marry a 9. Yeah. I don't know if you're listening. That's you. Right. The Relic Dorado Dreadnought.
The Relic Dorado Dreadnought.
This motherfucker apparently is sold out from Forge World.
Yeah, he's badass.
He's badass.
Badass.
Okay, so why is he badass? Because he looks like he's surfed here? Because he looks like a boat with arms.
He looks like it looks like a dreadnought in a wind tunnel.
Nerds love the titty Dreadnought, says Ruskos. Good evening, Hermanista. Good evening to everyone who's just joined us. Thanks for being here. So this guy's got 14 wounds.
Yeah.
So more than Dad Bod.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to, by the end of this, have a nickname. I'm just going to write that down. Dad Bod. I want people to watch the 40k show in like 2 months' time and it be they're like, why did they just say the Dad Bod got rerolls? Yeah, so Dad Bod. And it's got 14 wounds, it's got plus more. It's only got 2 attacks base, but it
doesn't
is
need any more.
Weapon skill 4, but it is ballistic skill 2, so it's a gangster. It's toughness 7. Nick, take it away.
So you can have. So it's got 3 weapon options. Sorry, the Anvilus autocannons, the Aractius heavy las cannon battery, or the Hellfire plasma carronade. I've just been taking the autocannons.
Oh, come on.
But the las cannon battery.
Do you mean the Arcanus heavy las cannon battery?
Yes.
Please
so their strength 10, heavy 2, AP4 damage D6, a 6 on a damage or extra mortal wound as well, and then the plasma, the cheapest option, and they are heavy 5, strength 8, AP3, damage 3.
Right.
I've just been taking the autocannons because you get the most amount of shots. I like autocannons because they're very versatile. So you kill lots of infantry, medium troops, and then vehicles as well. Whereas the others are more just vehicles.
And they're dedicated for vehicles. Yeah,
dedicated for vehicles. And I don't necessarily like variable damage, like the D6 damage. Like the amount of times you just roll a 1 and you reroll it to another 1 hurts me.
Yeah. Toon Contrition says it's an actual gunboat. It is a gunboat.
Yeah,
it's an actual gunboat.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's not the main reason a lot of people are taking it, would you say?
No, so it's got some shoulder war gear options. You can have an Alios missile launcher, so just like some extra missiles that The Chaos version can target things out of line of sight, but this one can't. It's just an extra
rubbish.
2d3 strength 6 AP1 missiles.
Nope.
It's okay, but what most people take it for is the Atomantic Pervase.
Yes.
So it gives a 5+ invulnerable save to chapter units that are within 6 of the model. Does not stack or improve existing invulnerable saves. So you can give the Dreadnoughts that we just listed without invulnerable saves now for 35 points on this one dude. So it's a force multiplier for your other stuff around it.
Okay.
And it also has another rule where you can, if you don't move, plant your feet, and you get +1 to hit against things that fly. So it's really good against flyers.
Which means it still hits on 2s.
Yeah, still hits flyers on 2s, basically. Yeah.
That's really good. That's really, really good.
Yeah.
Mr. Bridges would like to let us know that he loves the Redemptor. All those old dreads look so dated. So he's letting us know that. And Ixtab says Don Houston has perhaps popularised it a bit, talking about the Dorado Dreadnought.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Don Houston. Yes. I mean, I like how this thing looks. It's pretty expensive, though. But the 14 wounds that it's rocking, with the 3-up armor save, but also that 5-up invulnerable save, mean it's going to be tough to make a decision on what you're getting rid of. And again, it's that reliability of these like really good Dreadnoughts, the hitting on 2s, because everyone's got reroll 1s, right? You could say that 8th edition is the reroll 1s game. And like you said, even against stuff that's -1 to hit, flyers is typically the issue. They're still hitting on 2s, reroll 1s, so their reliability is better. There's a better word. Is massive.
And their autocannons are strength 8 as well.
Strength 8.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
So they're really good. So I've used these quite a lot now, and I use them at the weekend, and because they're generally at the centre of your death blob. So at the weekend I had 2.
Yeah.
Both of them had the Atomantic Pervase. So I had one with the 2 Redemptors, and then the other one with 3 normal Dreadnoughts. And your opponents, to finish off the easier to kill Dreadnoughts, they want to get rid of your Derrideer because that's giving them the 5-up invulnerable save. So once they get rid of that, they can more easily get rid of your normal Dreadnoughts. So they've got to focus on the Derrideer first. But with that strat where you're halving damage, they're going to target your Derrideer, you pop that stratagem, and it's going to be way harder for them to get rid of it. And obviously, if you're in Iron Hands as well, you can give them the 6-up DPR, and maybe you got a Tech Marine there to fix him up if they don't quite kill him off.
I mean, that's the scary thing about the Tech Marine character, that is also going to be giving out the -1 damage.
Yeah.
Also is, and the invulnerable save is he's also going to be able to heal these as well. And sometimes it does come down to those little wounds to like keep them up. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So like, I think your opponent in a way is, they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't kill it, because they try to kill it, you make it really hard to kill, so they switch targets, but then they're not killing the thing that's making your army really good.
Yes.
So it's like,
Yeah, and if they kill all the Dreadnoughts around it, it's still out there kicking out his damage. Yeah, I think it's great, and obviously that's why it's so popular at the minute, because it's benefiting anything. Which is interesting though, because if you were talking about Iron Hands, now that in fact you can give that 5-up invulnerable save without having Dorado, and also the Dorado being the character being untargetable, so it's got some Dreadnoughts around it. Maybe we'll see less. Maybe we'll see more. I don't know.
Yeah. I think even without the Atomantic Pervase, they're still really good. So if you don't have that, you just have it with the autocannons, the heavy bolters. It's 180 something. It's about 190 points, and it's got 14 wounds, hitting on 2s. It's still really good just on its own without the bubble. Yeah.
So what would you give the Dorado then? Twitch chat. I already saw some people in the chat saying Moon Tony gives it a 6 because it looks like a boat. Alan Joel, Brad Glover says he's going to give it a 2 out of 10 because it looks like a fortification gun placement. So yeah, what do you think?
I'd give it a 9.
9. Oof. Yeah, because it makes the normal Dreadnought good, which you gave it an 8. It makes everyone else great while also being great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty big. Yeah, that's huge. Looks like weird without the missile rack, though. Looks great in function. Agree with that, Herminister. Alan John, 9 out of 10 just for the lost range, because it did lose some range.
Yeah, the autocannons are only 36-inch range.
Not 48.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fine. You normally only start 24 away anyway. Okay, then wait, is that the Relic Deraider Dreadnought? Oh, I put 2 in because I was just checking out all the weapons. That's fun. The Hellfire Plasma Cannonade. Yeah, that's pretty cool. 5 shots, heavy 5. But nah. Anyway, so next up, the Venerable Dreadnought.
Venerable Dreadnought. So it's just like the normal Dreadnought, but it hits on 2s and it has a built-in 6-up DPR save. So again, good for the other chapters that aren't Iron Hands, like Ultramarines or Salamanders, etc.
Except says everyone secretly wants to read Speedboat, by the way, and Braglover says that the rules are good, so it doesn't matter what it looks like. 7.5 out of 10 speedboats, and Midnight Painter J says, as a Tau player, it's one of the only dreadnoughts I respect. That's good. And Moon Tyranny gives it a thumb. Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, I was just talking about the Venerable Dreadnought. That it's just a normal Dreadnought, but it hits on 2s and has an inbuilt DPR.
So it's me.
I think they're really good again with double autocannons because 8 shots hitting on 2s, rolling 1s.
But it's also nice because you can take 3 dreadnoughts and 3 venerable dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
So if you're going for that crazy dumb dreadnought build,
you can have a lot of them.
Oh my god, you really want me to? I really want to play this. Okay, anyway, so just a venerable dreadnought. So not much to say about it other than it hits on 2s. It's a little bit more expensive.
It's good. It's got a slight edge on the normal dreadnought just because of the BS2. Because if you're taking them like to hit flyers, then the modifiers are affecting you less. It's just more.
And it's not many more points. It's 20 more points.
Yeah.
So, like for an extra ballistic skill, probably worth it because it changes your output.
The only reason I didn't take them in my list is because I was going Iron Hands and they've already got a 6-up DPR, so that's wasted points on that. And I was having a Chapter Master, so the 2+ to 3+ ballistic skill didn't matter as much because you'd be rolling everything.
Yes. All right. Well, the Venerable Dreadnought also doesn't lose. It's just got 2+ the whole way through.
Yeah, they don't degrade.
Okay. All right. Next up. Have we given the Venerable Dread? Somehow I wrote that twice.
No.
What do you think about it? Andrew reckons it's a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10. I don't know. I'd probably go an 8 again, similar to the normal Dreadnought, because I think they're probably, although that's better.
Are you biased? You're giving a lot of 8s out.
I know. Well,
what would you give me what you would rate and in comparison to? Are we talking Predators? Are we talking Repulsors? Where is the 8 out of 10 situated in because obviously with Dreadnoughts, if we're comparing them in situation, but you're talking about them in the game, right? You're talking them in the whole game.
Okay.
So where do you give me some comparative units?
Well, I was giving my rating just in terms of Dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
I don't know. How would I rate a Predator? Less than that, probably. Based on the fact that a Predator is a bigger profile. So Dreadnoughts, the normal Dreadnoughts are quite small, so you can hide them, jump out easier.
Okay.
Whereas a Predator is harder to hide, and then because they're a bigger model, easier to tag in combat because there's just more surface area of them. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know.
All right, so Venerable Dread. And Hermanistus says, compare it to the new Double Lightning Lock Moriax, which is the Forge World War Dog. But it's not a War Dog. It's a Helverin.
Yeah.
155 points in Godly. And I suppose those guys are kind of competing with that Dreadnought slot now, aren't they? Like medium tier vehicles that float around toughness 7. So it's everything up to Predators and Repulsors when you're looking for the good guys. It's interesting, right? Maybe worth having a look at them next week or something. Okay, so then the Contemptor Mortis Dreadnought.
Well, this is just a Contemptor Dreadnought that can take 2 shooty weapons, so it's instantly better than its Contemptor cousin. Okay,
well, the Contemptor got a 2.
This one, I think they do. They have a 5+ invulnerable save as well. The Mortis
also
version.
has a 5+ invulnerable save.
Yeah, so it's way better.
And you can take twin autocannons, 2 times twin autocannons.
So you have to have. You can't have a twin autocannon and a twin assault cannon like you had earlier. You got to have both the same.
You got to marry them up.
Symmetry. It's all about the symmetry for this fella.
Yeah.
Again, I think this is another great candidate for the 2 twin las cannons, because with that, he's only 170 points, so you get a pretty solid anti-tank unit that's hard to kill, pumping out good damage.
Okay. So there's not much to say about that, apart from he's got the 5 up invulnerable save, and then he also hits on 2s.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, because he's
he's a Contemptor.
Yeah.
Hits on 2s, attacks on 2s, and his movement 9, so fairly quick, realistically. Still has only got 10 wounds, but he's got that 5 up invulnerable save.
Yeah.
But pretty expensive. So Contemptor only got 2. Are we going to pick Contemptor up and move it to like a 4? A relic. Contemptor Mortis.
The Contemptor Mortis. I reckon it's probably a 6.
6?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Although to be fair, I rated the normal Dread. What did I give the normal Dreadnought? An 8.
An 8.
Giving that a 6 seems silly compared to that, because on its own, it's better than the normal Dreadnought.
Yes, it is. But we don't point things like Games Workshop, right? We understand the synergies that go around with it as well. So otherwise, the points are all out of whack. Because while the Contemptor Mortis is good on its own, it's not the cheapest of the Dreadnoughts, but you can force multiply the regular Dreadnoughts up. You can't. I mean, you can also do the kind of like we said with the Salamanders thing with these guys.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Contemptor.
I think if you're not going for the Deradio invulnerable blob, then spamming things like that is pretty good. If you're going lots of Dreadnoughts, because then you can like spread them out. You don't need to.
I think, but he's the best. He's the best part of 200 points. And I think if I'm already going that far, I'd go a little bit deeper, like and get a fucking beefy boy. Do you know what I mean? Those are like because the Leviathan's rocking. You basically get almost 2 of those. Maybe. You get 2 Contemptor Mortis Dreadnoughts versus 1 Leviathan Dreadnought, but you basically get 14 wounds on Leviathan anyway. You get 14 wounds on Leviathan. It's a pip toughness higher. He's got a better invulnerable save of a 4+. He's got a 2 up armor save. So basically, are two Contemptors the same as 1 relic Leviathan Dreadnought? And the answer is no. So I don't think it's worth anything higher than a 6 really, because you can replace it in your list for a bigger punch. And then you can have a bunch of the cheap, chaffy Dreadnoughts that are Dreadnoughts. So I think 6 seems fair. Got to go. Thanks very much, Bros Barolo. Mortis are the ones that can take 2 of each weapon. Thanks, Moon Tyranid. So, and then the next up, we've got just the Mortis Dreadnought.
It's just a Dreadnought that can again have double weapons, and they have to be the same.
Yep.
Doesn't have an invulnerable save, so it is synergible.
So it's still super cheap. So we gave the other one an 8, so I reckon this gets an 8 as well.
I would go for a 7 because they're basic. Because with the index option, you can take identical Dreadnoughts, but the Mortis one is like 10 points more expensive.
Oh, weird.
So.
Okay. So 7 for the Mortis.
Yeah.
Then we get into the Big Daddy itself.
Big Daddy.
The Relic Leviathan Dreadnought, who, as stated before, toughness 8, 14 wounds, 2 attack space, but that's fine. It's not important. Hits on 2s, and has got a 2+ armor save, 4+ invulnerable save, and smoke launchers if you want to fire it. Pretty cool. What do you think?
Yeah, he's super tough with a toughness 8 and 4+ invulnerable save, 2 up save. You have to dedicate a lot of anti-tank to actually get rid of him. He's a really good bully unit that you can. I guess it worked really well in the list sort of I described earlier with my Deradio blob, because then your opponent's got to choose. Like I've got my anti-tank stuff. What do I point it at? That Leviathan or the Deradio that's buffing everyone else? And if whatever one you choose, the other one's going to punish you. I think the best weapons, in my opinion, are the Storm Cannon array, just because you get a fuck ton of shots with them. Each one is like 10 shots. Strength 7.
-2, 2 damage.
-2 damage,
24
which is
inches,
crazy.
those.
Yeah, it's short range, and you don't ignore moving penalties for him. So if you move, you're hitting on 3s.
Unless he's Iron Hands.
Unless you're Iron Hands, and then you move in, hitting on 2s with only 1s naturally, which is pretty baller.
Yep. getting a 6+ TPR.
Yes.
Reducing damage down by
Reducing
1.
damage.
He's also what's also good about him is because he's a large wound pool. Is the stratagem to make it so that half the damage that you take has got to go on this guy, right? So like that, like it doubles down that he's there, and he's still at like not an offensive. I think about this guy, and I think about my big unit of 9 Bullgrins, and I'm like, well, this guy's way better realistically, because he's projecting power much further. And then I think about my 12 Cataphront destroyers, and they laugh in the face of this dickhead, and they're going to blow him to pieces, which is fun. But they cost 3 times the points cost, so I'd get 6 Cataphrons probably. Well, no, 7 Cataphrons for the cost of this guy. So yeah, really. I mean, it's amazing, and the model's great. The model's butch.
And you can take 3 hunter killer missiles.
Yes.
More damage.
More Dakar, more shoot. And he's got the little nipple flamers.
Nipple flamers, yeah.
Nipple flamers,
Always
just in case
great.
you try and charge him with something cheap to chaff him up.
Yeah.
That
is. I was just thinking that a minute ago. That is the biggest weakness of Dreadnoughts, unless you're taking Ultramarines, because like the Leviathan, when you don't have any combat weapons on him, he's just got two attacks. So if you charge something near it and then pile in to tag this guy, he's not going to kick his way out of combat, and then he's not going to be shooting. So that's probably the easiest way, just to reduce this guy projecting this power around the table. Unless obviously you're taking him Ultramarines. That's probably an argument. I think if you're going all Dreadnoughts, that I think it's probably Iron Hands or Ultramarines, and then maybe Salamanders.
Well, I was going to say let's have that conversation afterwards, right?
Yeah.
So Leviathan out of 10.
Out of 10, 11.
11.
No.
Bad boy. Yeah, 10. Does he get a 9 or does he get a 10? Like, what does he have a weakness? Fairly short range?
Yeah, short range, and the fact that you can tag him in combat unless you're Ultramarines. But I suppose that's all Dreadnoughts. I think maybe a weakness could be that his explode is quite damagey, because he is quite bad because he explodes on a 5 and it's 9-inch radius, I believe. So if you have him, if he's in a blob with all your other characters and other Dreadnoughts,
it's a 9-inch distance.
Yeah,
D3 more
D3.
wounds.
So when it does go, it can be quite painful for you. So I would say, based on his short range and that, I would use him as like a separate unit on his own that's got like a lieutenant with him, or because if you're not Iron Hands, where you get that reroll 1s naturally because of the tactical doctrine, you can use the Wisdom of the Ancients thing to give him a reroll 1s.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, especially with 20 shots.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to give him a 9.5.
9.5.
9.5.
9 something.
Almost perfect. For all the things that you want. If you're Iron Hands and your levy blows up, you don't want to survive anyway, so it's narrative. That's a good point. There's one more. There's the Siege Dreadnought.
Oh, the Siege Dreadnought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one more Dreadnought right there. There he is.
Didn't see him.
Although I don't know. I don't know if there's a Siege Dreadnought that's an elite and a Siege Dreadnought that's. No, there isn't. Yeah, Siege Dreadnought. Would you like me to read out what it does?
Yeah.
So this is according to Battlescribe. It's got sudden strikes. Whenever attack a building, a model with a movement characteristic of 0 during the fight phase, the Siege Dreadnought's controlling player may reroll all wound rolls of 1. Perfect for Imperial Fists. And it's also got a Frag Storm launcher. If the model finishes arcage above... What? Right, roll a D4 4 plus unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Is this even a real model? Anyway, it's tough to say. With 8 wounds, it's got 3 up armor save, no invulnerable save, and it's got the Dreadnought Inferno cannon, which is it's a flamer basically that's strength 6.
Yeah.
You got a melter gun, which is 12-inch range, and assault 1. So it's a melter gun, and then you got a Sazzy hammer.
A silly hammer.
A silly hammer. If you have, it's perfect for killing drop pods. That's true. But who is killing drop pods? Who's even playing with drop pods?
Aren't they? Some Marine players are using them, aren't they?
So the Siege Dreadnought, there we go, isn't particularly good, and it's quite expensive. Just that loadout is 169 points.
Yeah, for a heavy flamer on one arm.
Yeah.
And then a hammer that is -1 to hit.
I mean, it is strength 6.
Crest.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So he can get a 5. He can get a 5. But there's one Dreadnought we haven't talked about, but is he even a Dreadnought and does he deserve it? The Invictus Tactical Warsuit.
He isn't technically a Dreadnought. We ought to give him an honourable mention, though.
Should we, though? Because he literally doesn't have... He's not a Dreadnought.
Guy's not in a coffin, so...
He's out. We're making that a narrative elective decision.
Okay, yeah.
That's the right decision, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because he's a walker. Like, we need to get that into our
he's more like a Scout Sentinel from Imperial Guard, really, than a Dreadnought.
Yeah, exactly like a Scout Sentinel. He is just a Space Marine Scout Sentinel, right? Not a Dreadnought. Kill it. Correct.
Agreed.
Yeah, now there are obviously a bunch of other Dreadnoughts as well to go through, but we're going to approach those another day because that's just a ton to do. We did talk about this before the show, and we would have to do like the Space Wolf ones. There's quite a few.
Yeah, we're just talking about ones that are relevant to like the Space Marine Codex and the supplements that have come out.
Exactly, as we're talking about it. And as we're talking about it, so talking about some of the things that you can do, and we've kind of talked about already, but I'm going to go through them. So if you want to take a bunch of Dreadnoughts, build a bunch of Dreadnoughts. So if you take them as Ultramarines, obviously you can fall back and shoot. Now, that's good if someone's trying to lock you up in combat, if you want to take a bunch of... a bunch of Dreadnoughts, but that's not the best one, is it really? If you're going all Dreads all day.
I think there's a really good argument. For me, I think Iron Hands or Ultramarines.
Or Ultramarines. How come?
Just because of the main weakness that Dreadnoughts have. They don't have fly, they can't fall back and shoot naturally. So you can, like say you come up against some fucking Eldar bullshit who's
Dicks.
flying around wave serpents at you and they're just sort of charging in wave serpents at you. Just tagging you. They don't care because they can just move out and shoot, but you can't.
My brand new repulsors.
Yeah.
Fucking love that.
Fucking
love
shit
that.
like that.
Yeah, I love that shit.
So yeah, the fact that they can't fall back and shoot is one of their biggest weaknesses. So either you take lots of stuff to screen and you just try not to be charged and try not to let that happen and go Iron Hands, or you say it might happen, I'm going to take less screens so I can invest more in Dreadnoughts and go Ultramarines.
Yeah.
For me.
Okay. I would go for less screens personally and go for more Dreadnoughts, but then I would still take Iron Hands because gangster. But I don't think I would take Iron Hands. Like I respect the damage output, but I actually think I know you're getting, depending on how you build it, right? You're already getting a lot of 2s re-rolling 1s, and you're already re-rolling 1s for the lieutenants, right? Lieutenants. But for me, I really like the Salamanders one. As I was reading it earlier, I was just like, it's just cool. Just another reroll is good. I just think it's a really, really solid choice. The Salamanders doctrine. So I and you've run a Salamanders build before. Are you not tempted by that still, or do you not think it does as enough?
I've not ran Salamander Dreadnought. No, I've run Salamander Dreadnoughts in one game, and those rerolls did make quite a big difference. It was really nice to just have that extra little reroll that added a little bit extra damage on lots of different units. And the ignoring -1 was pretty good. But I just think the Iron Hands one, doubling your profile on the damage charts, just keeps you firing at more reliable rate for longer. And the 6-up DPR just obviously keeps you in the game longer, makes you stick around a bit longer to shoot more. And the Overwatch thing on 5s is pretty good as well. That's another reason why the Redemptor's really good, because he's got lots of shots to take advantage of the Overwatch on a 5+.
Okay.
And stick a Chapter Master there. He's hitting on 5s, rerunning everything for Overwatch.
But what about so we've talked about the survivability of Iron Hands, but what about the survivability of Raven Guard, right? Like, because outside of 12 inches, we -1 to hit. It's pretty good.
But that's just the infantry, though, isn't it? I don't think the vehicles
so. It's
get it.
infantry in cover within 12 inches, I think. I'm pretty certain it's -1 and everything.
I'll double check that.
Unless I'm wrong. The guys in the chat, I'm sure, will be able to double check me super quick. Imperial Fist, though, not about that. Not about that life.
Maybe it'd be good if you take in Dreadnoughts that aren't hitting on 2s, because then they count as like 5 models, so they're shooting big units, they'll get a +1.
Maybe. I mean, that gives you a good reason to take a bunch of just base Dreadnoughts, right? Chapter Master Mara, it says, "How dare you?"
So the Raven Guard tactic is when resolving an attack made by a ranged weapon against a unit with this tactic that is more than 12 inches away, that unit is treated as having the benefit cover, and if that unit is not a vehicle and wholly within terrain, you get -1 to hit. So Dreadnoughts wouldn't get the -1.
Yeah. No,
Sadly.
Oh, well, then never mind. Never mind, that won't add that bonuses. I've read a lot of Space Marine stuff today, so. All right. But then the +1 to hit and to wound against characters kind of makes me sexy. Because I'd like to play the numbers on the playing with the against knights.
I think that would be a really good way to go, like maybe in a team tournament environment. Because likely when we went to the team tournament last, and I'm sure most team tournaments for 40k, there's going to be a knight player in most teams. So maybe if you have a Raven Guard Dreadnought based list specifically to counter a knight list, because if you've got loads of anti-tank weapons that are just even better because of that +1 to wound against characters, that could be pretty devastating.
Yeah, okay. And then, so we've talked about Sally's. So I think we've talked about. I did.
But for salamanders, I think if you're going to go for salamander dreadnoughts, you want to have like lots of las cannons, plasma cannons, C-beam cannons, not like assault cannons and heavy bolters and things like that.
Well, so what? Yeah, exactly.
To
You want something that's
the
like
value.
massive impact. An interesting fact about the rerolls, is it means that a wounding shot from something like the las cannon goes from a 44% reliability to a 70% reliability, which is cool, or a chance. Sorry, so that's quite a massive improvement from those salamanders. From that chapter, because I was doing the research there, I was like, oh, actually, I was wondering what it was, and someone written it down somewhere. So I was like, that's fucking rad. So I actually think that's pretty cool. And I think that's the way I'd like to go for it. Although I recognise that actually having a bunch more shots is usually better. Salamander and Iron Fist Treads do need to wait and see their Doctrine Kickers are, because we also haven't got those as well. So we are a bit premature on this, which is why...
One of my guesses for Salamanders,
yeah,
I think they'll have something similar to like the Catachans, where they re-roll variable number of hits. So, because Salamanders, a lot of their narrative is about flamers and kind of that stuff, and I reckon they'll have like a rule where you roll d6 for a flamer, but you can roll 2 hit the highest.
They're
or
also
something
master artisans, which is why they get all of those kind of re-rolls. So I'd like to see if they could take like a bunch of relic weapons or something similar. That would be really cool. Or maybe some upgrades for free or some dumb shit. That would be quite rad. But you're right, probably re-rolling variables seems good, or maybe bonuses to wound with flamer weapons. Could be really cool.
Extra damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude Day says, I don't think you're taking the Dreadnought list to be fully competitive anyway. It's going to be fun, though, and I agree with that statement.
Disagree, sir.
Okay, Nikos is going to prove you wrong. Moon Turner says, I played versus a full Dread list once. I'm waiting with bated breath to see how he feels. Valerie, Tom is currently training to beat Nick Nanavati tomorrow at the LGT.
I heard he did a press-up.
He did 2.5 push-ups, yeah. But he won't be back because they've had him painting scenery now for the past week.
Yeah, they thought the scenery last year was rubbish. We need a professional this time.
Yeah, let's get Tom in. I was kind of excited. I'm kind of excited about going down because after the shit show last year, I can't wait to be in the eye of the madness.
The storm,
just be like, what fucking crap is this? All right, so I'm going to post up on Twitter and Facebook the results of our initial Dreadnought thing. But something to talk about again. Friend of the show, Tom, different Tom by the way, Willis talked about. So one of the cool things that we've started to see now is if you take a successor chapter for one of these armies, you can actually get the benefits from 2 different chapters at the same time, which is really fun. So you're able to get the bonuses from so you don't get the doctrine, but you get access to the other items in there, which is cool. Specifically, what we're talking about when we're talking in regards to Dreadnoughts is the ability to have the relic that gives you the -1 damage for that, but also mix that with some of the other items. So as we go forward, a successor chapter taking like a little element from Raven Guard, a little element from Iron Hands, or something that mixes up in the future, we could see some like real dirty combos coming through.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? The fact that they've let that kind of
I feel it's
that sneak in as a rule.
I feel it's a bit weird and confusing, and doesn't quite feel right that you can be. Oh, I've got these chapter tactic things, but then I'm also that, so I get the benefits of Ultramarines as well. I don't know. It doesn't quite feel like that's necessarily what they intended.
No, I'd
feels
say that's
like
definitely
maybe it's a loophole that people have found that. Is it? I don't know. I've not looked at the rules
okay.
in detail myself, but it just doesn't quite feel like that's what it's intended.
Yeah, it seems a bit janky, realistically, because really you're making a better sum of the two parts that you got.
Yeah.
Because the doctrines are good, but like if you find a relic that's crazy good, and then another relic that's crazy good, or you could potentially see some really like messed up stuff. And as we get more of the supplements coming out, we've already started to see that a little bit. So I don't know. Do like this. It's Blood Angels, no. So I think that's interesting. It's an interesting little side note because don't just like feel that you have to be pigeonholed into just the one chapter. You can make a successive chapter and take the best elements of two different chapters, really, apart from the doctrines, which could really lead to some. I don't know. I quite like. Do I like it? No, because you'd want to be like even more pigeonholed, right? You would want there to be like, like they did with the Knights, where there was like a positive thing that you took, but there was also a negative thing that you had to take. Mm-hmm. I think that they should do that for successive chapters. That would be really gangster, but sadly, no. Okay. All right. Well, that's all we've got time for on the show today because we have to pack the studio up for tomorrow.
Do you mind if I just give some dudes a shout out?
Please, always do a shout out.
I went to Hellstorm Wargaming.
Oh wait, I haven't even asked you about these games.
No,
Are you going to tell me about them?
Yeah, I was gonna, but you just like...
No. Please do. I don't mind. I would like to. Nick, you went to. So that's Dreadnoughts so far. We will come back to more Dreadnoughts. Nick was at a one-day wargaming event this weekend.
I was.
Please tell me about it.
So it was a one-day Hellstorm event at Sanctuary Wargaming Centre.
I'll try and get the pictures while you carry on.
I've sent Rob a couple of photos of my games. So it's just a one day. And
1 minute before we went live. Don't say it like that. Yeah? Help me out.
You've had literally a minute before we went live to sort this out, Rob.
Okay, go on.
So, so I took a Dreadnought-based list to the event. So I had...
that's relevant.
I had so relevant. Two captains on bikes, both with storm shields.
Not Dreadnoughts.
One was a chapter master, but they were Dreadnought...
adjacent?
They were Dreadnought... enablers, that's what they were. They had two lieutenants, so I could have two little fire bases, basically. I had 3 units of scouts, 2 units of 5 tactical marines, 1 unit of 10 intercessors, so I had 2 battalions, lots of command points. And then I had 3 normal dreadnoughts with double autocannons, 2 Derridios with autocannons and atomantic pervasors.
Wow.
And then 2 Redemptor dreadnoughts with all the Gatling cannons.
Okay.
So first game I played Andrew Keeling. He had Tau.
Oh.
He did not have the boring broadside blob.
Yeah.
He had lots of hammerheads and flyers.
Oh yeah, you told me about this. This is exciting.
Yeah, so it was... luckily, I had a good board for this game because if he went first and I was in the open, he would just shoot the fucking shit out of me, as Tau do.
Whoa. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, as Tau do.
That's their tactic, yeah.
As Tau do. Because he had, like, loads of Seeker missiles, so if you, like, get some marker lights on something, it's just, like, 18 Seeker missiles shooting at one thing that are just, ridiculous, would ruin me. So I was lucky that I was always planning to go second. So we did the game switch up style deployment. So the person who sets up first, but it was kind of slightly comped. So if you set up first, you have to go first. You set up second, you're going second. So Andy set his army up kind of in central, and then there was 2 buildings at either side of the board that I could hide half of my army behind. So I just hid half there, and my plan was to hide, make him move to have to shoot me, which Tau don't like doing. Make it hard for him to get marker lights on me, and then pick off whatever came around the corner. So my Derridios were sort of set up ready for his flyers, because obviously they have to come forward to pick them off. And that's kind of what happened. He had first turn, he killed 1 Redemptor, but it took most of his army to kill 1, because I did the stratagem on it to half damage and stuff like that. And it's just quite tough. And then I killed a couple of flyers, killed Long Strike because he had that, because he buffs all the hammerheads. And then it kind of spiraled downward from there. He didn't quite have a good enough response to my shooting because I'd hit it quite well, and just more autocannons and the Derrideos did kill the hammerheads pretty easily. But he made some good plays at the end of the game where he tied up quite a few of my Dreadnoughts with his Sky Rays. Because obviously the Dreadnoughts can't fall back and shoot, he just pinned me in.
Okay, so that's why you feel a little bit susceptible to it when we were talking about Dreadnoughts before.
Yeah, but I won that game. It was really good to play Andy. He was a good player. One thing I noted about Andy as I was playing, I think he was very. I think his how to describe it. His table manners were very good in terms of he was very good at explaining what his army did, what he was rolling for, and being very clear about what he was doing.
Yeah.
So it was. And it was weird to see a Tau player actually moving models and charging me in combat.
Wow.
He was charging at me with his Tau.
That's great.
But yeah, it did look like it was giving him a
his head.
Giving a bit of a headache.
Sorry, how many dice do you roll in the charge phase?
What happens in combat?
Well, you're only overwatching with one unit.
Yeah.
That's so confusing.
Weird.
Yeah.
So then my second game was against the TO of the event.
The TO?
Mr.
Played
Mike,
in his own event?
Yeah, Mr. Mikey Herbert.
Yeah.
So he had a pretty up-to-date meta list using the weird rules that we just described a minute ago, having cherry-picked two
different chapters to be a successor of.
And then he was a successor of Ultramarines. So he had 3 war suits, some scouts, some eliminators, and then the main bulk of his list was 3 repulsor executioners with a chapter master and lieutenant between them.
Yeah.
So just a big floating castle
With
crawling forward. Yeah, loads of rerolls, a big floating castle.
So the Gollum car park V2.
Yes.
2.0.
Yes.
The electric boogaloo.
Yeah.
The blue boogaloo.
So I went first, and I think so. I lost the game, and what I learned after the game was I think my target priority was off. So basically, I concentrated in the first couple of turns on trying to kill the war suits because they were going to be the things running at me and tying my stuff up in combat, hitting me in combat, and they were easier for me to kill because they have toughness 7 and lower wounds, whereas the repulsors are toughness 8, 16 wounds. So that kind of put me off a little bit shooting them because I thought they're going to be much harder to kill. I don't want to shoot everything at something and then not get a kill, not kill it. So I thought, right, I'll take out the war suits first, which I did. I took them all out in 2 turns.
Yeah.
But by that point, Mikey had been able to sort of thin down my Dreadnoughts. So when I was able to start shooting at the repulsors, I didn't quite have enough
firepower
to get me over the line. Yeah, I managed to kill 1.5 of them, but there was still 1.5 left at the end of the game. Whereas I think what I should have done is use my scouts, my intercessors, and my other tactical marines as I should have kept the warsuits at arm's length, so I could have used them up, pushed them up as screens, just hold them back while I shoot at the repulsors, maybe get 1 or 2, and then when I really, really need to kill the warsuits when they're right in my face, do that then.
Yeah, that's what happened when I've played against the warsuits. That I think they've just been distraction units in your grill, and you can't really ignore them. And again, not because they're shooting output, because they're combat outputs. You just don't want to really deal with it, which is what I think the warsuits are actually quite good at. Which is why I keep talking about some of the combat from even the basic Contemptor Dreadnought, right? Because it's a thing. It's a thing. So yeah, that makes sense. Hi, Irish Minotaur.
But in that game, my scouts were really good. Just in the deployment phase, because it pushed those warsuits back, because I could deploy advance of my deployment zone, just push them back a bit further. So it would have given me more time, but then I just decided to kill them, whereas I should have, like I said, just ignored them, killed the things that were going to kill me first, and then focus on that stuff.
Yeah.
And I did. The biggest thing in this game that really triggered me a little bit was I made quite a good play sort of halfway through the game. So Mikey put a unit of scouts on the central objective. I charged a tactical warsuit with my 10 intercessors, put 1 next to the warsuit, and then charged it with a Redemptor to kill it. And then the rest of the intercessors strung out and then wrapped around his scouts. So then they were going to consolidate around them and then be in a central board where he can't shoot them in his next turn.
Yeah.
But the warsuit exploded, did loads of wounds to my Redemptor, and then killed quite a few of my Primaris, opening up a gap for his scouts to escape, ruining my whole plan.
Oh.
So I was a little bit gutted about that, because that was quite a nice little plan. I don't think Mikey saw it come in, and it was just just that one explode sort of ruined my little plan. I'm not sure it would have made much of a difference in terms of me winning or losing, but I really wanted to see that reality. But unfortunately, I was in the wrong timeline. So my third game was against Ben Stanley, another Tau player.
Wow.
Who I've played before with my Bloodletter Bomb,
So
and he beat me.
You
So
played double
revenge.
Tau, and then you also played the Redemptor gunline list.
I did, yeah.
Whew.
So Ben had triple Riptide and 3 broadsides. So again, it was kind of very similar to my first game against Andy with his Tau. Ben deployed first, and I hid everything, and he had to move to get some shots off me. After the game, he reflected back, and he realised a mistake he made. Basically, what he did, he kind of shifted his stuff to one side to poke around the corner and shoot at me. But in my next turn, in my first turn, I killed 17 out of 18 shield drones.
Wow.
In the first turn, through using the Thunderfire cannon and just all my Dreadnoughts, because they were kind of out in the open. Whereas he realised after the game what he should have done was there was kind of like 2 central buildings. He could have moved the other way, advanced towards me slightly, but put all of his shield drones behind the building and all of his stuff within 6 of the shield drones. So I couldn't directly shoot at the shield drones. All I would have had was my Thunderfire cannon to shoot them, and then that would have just kept him in the game longer by soaking up all the damage with the shield drones, whereas he just basically gave them all on a plate to me a little bit. Not sure the star of the show was that game. Probably just all the normal Dreadnoughts and the Derridios. I threw the Redemptors forward as like a distraction Carnifex style. Wandering forward, shooting, they're going to charge you, and you got to deal with those, whereas the rest of the Dreadnoughts just hung back. And although his the Riptides have got that 3-up and runnable save, which is quite hard to deal with for my list, I've got no way of shutting it down or reducing it. But it was just a sheer volume of autocannon shots that he was having to save. Like, he was admittedly quite unlucky with his 3+ saves. Like, every time he was like, right, I'm going to take one at a time. The first one failed. Like, almost every time. But, like, it was just a sheer weight of damage to shots that were going through. Eventually, just took them all down.
That's great. That's great, especially also something like, would you say you were outgunning the Tau? Like,
I think
is that how it felt?
I was, because... But I don't know. I think we both had really good output, but I think his shooting wasn't so great against Dreadnoughts because he had a lot of damage 2 stuff, so I could pop that stratagem to make that damage 1. He had a lot of stuff which was strength 6, so most of my stuff toughness 7, so he's wounding me on 5s rather than like 3s or whatever. I think Andy's list was way better against mine than Ben's in terms of matchups, but I think in both of them, because of the terrain, I was able to hide and pick off stuff, because I made them come to me rather than me going, right, I'm here. Because I thought about, I could sit them all out on the line, use the cover stratagem, see if I can survive. But I just think if a Tau army is just wailing on you out in the open, it's not clever.
No.
So I just thought, right, hide, and then make them come to me, and then I'll move in my turn. Either say he moves out one way, shows me a little bit of his army, and I'll move in a way that I can still see the one stuff that I want to shoot, but then also make him have to move again in his turn. Because with Tau, what you don't want to do is give them the prime opportunity to do the Kion where they're rerolling all the hits and standing still. So
you want it to be like a wasted effort sometimes.
Yeah, you want them always to be trying to get into a good position while you're picking them off slowly.
That's good. And it's good having that extra range to do that.
Yeah, I was outranging Ben's army as well, which he said was something that he needs to try and learn.
How to deal with.
It's
hard, right? A gunline army that's outranged, you're going to feel a little bit hemmed in, I think, at that stage. So what won the event? A little one-day, a little RTT, as they call it.
I think it was Dark Eldar won the event.
Oh, Deldar.
But it was a known cheater, so I'm not sure if that can be...
Okay.
properly awarded.
There you go. It can't be properly awarded. Well, the big Irish Mind Tours asked if you wouldn't mind putting your list up on Twitter.
Sure.
You will be able to
Yeah.
do that at just Nikos.
Yeah, man.
At just_Nikos. Cool. Well, but good event, and you enjoyed the list. Do you want to try and
Yeah,
run more Dreads again?
I'm definitely going to run more Dreads again. Because I'm heading off to the Amsterdam Open in November. So this was kind of a warm-up event for me to test out my Dreadnought list. So I'm probably going to take a Marine list to that. So this was kind of just like a bit of practice for that event. I think it's pretty good. I gave the triple repulsor list a run for its money. I think if I was to play it again, I think I would do a lot better in that game.
We saw there was a
learn the
triple
matchup.
repulsor list at CCBB, and they didn't end up winning the event, or I think even coming close realistically. There's some tough matchups for them. I actually don't rate the Executioners. I think it's like a mid-table bully. I don't think it's like a game. I don't think it's a tournament winning army. Truth be told, it's just Fanboy Space Marine re-rolling, like not like top table, like tech to win. Because I think that some of the other things pose too many problems personally. But that's having just seen them out in one tournament. So
I think there was 2 triple repulsor lists at that event, and they came both. I think one was second and one was third or fourth.
Yeah.
But obviously it's 3 games, so not maybe a true reflection of their.
I'd agree. Does Miss Nikos know you're going to Amsterdam? Could be trouble.
She does, yeah. She was coming as well.
All right, well, solid. All right, Nick. Well, thanks for the roundup.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thanks for also joining me this Thursday. Don't forget to join us next Thursday. Fucking fly. Next Thursday, talk more 40k.
Yeah, Tom will be able to tell us all about how he won the Invitational.
He will. I think the Invitational is a stupid idea, FYI. Well, knockout tournament on a Friday.
The Apply Invitational.
The Apply Invitational for your EP-ness, but whatever. And before you guys go, I only viewed the Warhammer World Team event. I don't know yet. I'll have to double check.
40k one, yes.
AOS one, don't know. 40k one, don't know. Don't have a teammate. Brad Glover, thanks very much. You're awesome. Thanks for everyone watching and for all of your input. We'll talk more in the future. Let us know what your favourite Dreadnought is on Twitter or Facebook. We'd appreciate that a ton. Thank you to everyone on Patreon and Twitch. Thanks for subscribing or generally just being badasses. I've appreciated this. I'm going to go now and read why Imperial Fists really hate walls, but secretly love walls. That's what I'm going to do. Nick, any final thoughts?
I'm going to join you on that quest and find out why the architect keeps asking to put little tiny holes in all the walls. About waist height.
I haven't seen a 40k wall that's just solid ceramite, just like, let's stop all the bullets, because there's a ton of them.
Maybe they just really like sunlight. They really like natural light. They're like, right, just let us.
They're in armour all the time. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe they want like a breeze. That's how I feel when I get out of the office. Okay. I will see you guys soon. I hope you have a great day. Thanks very much. And thanks for joining us. Bye. Bye.